Welcome back to Scum and Villainy, Accounts of the Night Beast, episode 5, entitled House Hachi. Last session, the group ended up in a watering hole known as the Donny Rainbow, located on the Comus Pylon, in the um, city of Hosui, on the planet of Parias. Um, the pylon in question is a very massive megastructure. They are under they have the understanding that there are three tasks that the rebels who are present here are interested in. After having a discussion with those individuals, they also have it that there will be things to do in the morning, which we will get to um, once certain individuals arrive. Dead, kids, having kids, all that stuff, fun stuff, real life. Getting in the way of roleplay, it's fine. I'm fine with it. I'm not mad. Don't think I'm mad. I hate real life. That's why I roleplay.
Kids and puppies.
But the main thing is at the end of last session is the group ended up engaging with the captain of another kind of mercenary or Sultan ship, and they sold, or rather traded slash sold, the lipped egg, as we were taking to calling it, or the night beast egg, to this group, and when they acquired it, revealed that they were able to consume it. They left with the egg kind of just splashed open on the deck of the landing bay, and a portion of the creature left splattered all over the floor next to it. They did not clean up after themselves as they left, as the leaving was tense, but I will just pick up from there with the group kind of being present to just kind of make sure things are kind of locked in. Oren goes back on the ship after the tense affair. Thane was already on the ship, and Zelri is more than happy, or more than capable of kind of understanding there was something happening outside, and understanding that it seems to be safe now. She can kind of go out and check in on it since they took the egg from her. She understood it was probably a sale, transactional matter. So, just leaving you at the scene there. Free play. Feel free to do what you like. Obviously, we have some free play elements we need to do tomorrow, but there's also planning segments that are going to be interchanged within. But yeah, leaving it open to you.
Are we in the exact moments after the sale?
Yeah, probably
Okay.
maybe like a minute after they left, as everybody kind of wordlessly kind of catches, up with reality.
Yeah, I mean, Lupita is physically hoisting up Becco and kind of like stowing him underneath her arm and putting him inside where
Yeah.
it's safe somewhere.
And then he dies.
And then he's just
Oh,
dead. He was dead.
it was alcohol
Dead from
poisoning the
alcohol
whole
poisoning.
That was
time.
it.
Oh,
Little did
Lupita
I,
killed
little did you
him.
know,
Oh,
Imish are not able
no.
to drink alcohol, just like real cats.
Yeah.
Oh.
Joking. Continue. Sorry.
Oh, well, that was
Hey, he'll look fabulous when
yeah.
he dies.
Well, actually, he looks probably really fucked up right now because
That's true.
they've
Like his
been
hair's
drinking
all
all
over the place,
night. Like,
and like one of his
definitely
eyelashes is like on his cheek.
one of the eyelashes is wonky. Um,
Wait, is Becco dead?
no.
No, we're just being stupid.
Yeah, so last time,
He did throw up on people though.
we went to a nightclub, so uh Lupita put makeup and a cool outfit on Becco and got him drunk.
Yep.
Okay.
And he totally threw up during the exchange.
During the negotiations.
Yep.
Excellent.
Okay.
To be fair, The guy ripped the egg open and like bit the thing's head off.
That's right.
Pretty
I wonder
gross.
how that tastes like.
Well, there's still remnants on the ground, so you can try it.
Was
Do I
that in
let the
character?
Yes.
Oh, Tarish. I guess
Kind
there's
of
still
slowly. Gonna go over there. Is he gonna
off
debate
the
on letting
ground.
Can't let it go to waste.
Walks over.
Wait, do I let the...
So there's the egg, and it is like. I'm gonna try and say this sensitively, but it
No.
looks like it has been busted open, because that's kind of what happened. And then the lower portion of the worm creature lays on the ground. The blood is very bright red or reddish orange. If you've ever like spilt SpaghettiOs, it's like
You and your
that
damn spaghetti goo.
sans the SpaghettiOs. It's a very vibrant color, and for me, it's also a very poignant horror color because of Romero's like zombie films, like the Day of the Dead.
Yep.
Like they didn't have blood, squibs. They just had this kind of like weird bright red. Anyways, point is, same color as blood from a Romero zombie film, the earlier ones, and then it's just laying there. You pick it up, Tarj.
He's just gonna... Probably just gonna stare at it for like a moment, debating to let the thoughts win of eating it,
So
but he's also questioning.
the main thing that you would notice is kind of like a carnivore. Let's say carnivore. Is that it looks like the flesh of it has been bitten off, but what you're noticing is that the innards that you would expect to see, kind of the viscera therein, isn't exactly what you'd expect, right? It appears to have a very hold on, I'm trying to look for the word. Oh god, what's the name of that metal?
Mercury.
No. It's the one that's kind of got like a prismatic, like weird kind of geometry to it.
Bismuth.
Oh, yeah,
It's-
bismuth.
It looks like bismuth. Thank you. That was too hard for me. So it has like an almost like reflective prismatic sheen to it. And it looks like there are a lot of parts that where you'd expect to see like coagulation. Instead, there's like a calcification that's like formative of like a metallic like substance.
Actually, I think Zellery might like this.
Do you pick it up?
Yeah.
It when you grab a hold of it, it feels very hard. Like, god damn it! It feels very solid.
Wait. What?
Yeah. Oh god damn
Wait.
it! This
Wait.
thing.
Wait. What?
You made this. Listen.
Because it's HR geeker shit. That's why. Why is it sexual? I know why. So, sorry, Johnny, your innocent little mind. So Terash would feel like it doesn't feel like flesh. Is the main thing that I want to kind of stress there. It feels like piping, or it feels like the barrel of a gun. It feels. When I say hard, I don't mean like in a fleshy sense.
Like
I mean like in a
solid.
physical, solid sense.
Probably in his mind, he thinks like Zellery will know more about. She's been spending all this time studying about the night beast, and he's probably thinking that she wants the fleshy part instead of him eating it.
Well, I guess the main thing that I'm wanting to stress here, Johnny, and maybe you're not picking up on, is it doesn't feel like it would be very easy for you to bite it and tear it apart.
Yeah. Mhm.
So what just happened there
the
was
fuck
not
does that
just
do
like a
then?
weird, gross
Yeah, I know.
circumstance. It was supernatural.
Yeah, he's definitely once he feels all that and sees that he's not gonna eat it, he's
Yeah.
gonna bring it back inside.
Be like trying to, chomp down on a gobstopper or something. It's like
Yeah, it's
it's
hard.
yeah.
Like,
So you walk it over to Zelri. It does drip like a bit, but the thing about the drips is they kind of hit the floor of the deck with a bit more of like a louder percussion than you'd expect, a droplet of blood to hit with. And when you kind of look at where that drop spilled, you can see that it's already started to form the kind of strange bismuthian crystals on the ground. And it only drops like maybe 2 or 3 droplets before it appears to the entirety of the round of it is kind of solidified with those crystals or those kind of geometric shapes.
something interesting. Hmm. Kind of just at his way. He's always like, it's dripping crystals, things. What's going on here? Kind of just like flop in front of her.
Just throw it on the ground in front of her.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Uh,
Lupita,
you
could you have bitten this thing in half the whole time too?
Definitely not. It doesn't. Um, I mean, it already looked too disgusting to be edible, but certainly I can't imagine. It looks more like a mineral than a creature.
by the way, I didn't bite it. Look at me.
Well, no, we certainly assumed you didn't bite into it, Tarash. It doesn't look. You would have broken a tooth.
Our job.
The other guy did.
He
Like,
was
I
really
could do that too. If I tried. Just saying.
No, there was something going on there. Something to do with the way. I don't think you. Yeah, I don't think that was a show of brute force.
Hmm, I see. Or we can see if it's a show of brute force to test your theory. Ah, oh, never mind.
Zelri, what is your prognosis on Tarash taking a physical bite out of this clearly inedible thing?
I don't advise it. Um,
See a
I'd like
disappointed
to
look on
take
his face.
I'd like to take some samples, but I don't know if we should keep this on the ship any further.
Hmm.
I mean, do you want any
Well,
part of it, Lupita?
Absolutely
Before
not.
you finish that sentence, actually, you're about to kind of negatively affirm, your position. You
Mhm.
then kind of feel this weird pang, and you kind of look back to where it died, and the blood is kind of all turned into that weird crystalline shape, and you feel something come from that.
Oh God.
And then you feel something come from each of the little drips along the way that Terash made over. And then you kind of look over to the worm, and you can feel it as well. Where the worm originally created a null space where the way wasn't present, apparently in its death, it appears to be creating a wellspring of it.
Oh, okay.
oh,
So you see, Lupita's kind of like usual look of disgust anytime the thing is mentioned, kind of falter. Oh, hold on. The mineral it's left behind, it's has some kind of pulse in the way. Maybe it's worth uh studying Zelry, let's scrape up all of the mineral that's left behind. I can, if you want to keep it in the med bay, sure, but if not, I'll keep it here in my shrine. Oh no! What is that?
You're
What
just
is
like, yeah,
that?
let's get all of it. Let's get every
Oh,
single bit of it.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
I
is that
thought.
is that you like copying Lupita, or are you like?
I'm just doing a Lupita bit, yeah. Like, let's get all of it. Let's get every bit. Scrape it off the deck, Terror.
I thought you hated this thing. What changed?
Oh, I hate. No, I just found it to be, kind of disgusting and weird. But this substance it's leaving behind, it has a mark of the way. I can feel it coming off of it, like a wellspring, where before it was um, a sinkhole in the spiritual matrix of the galaxy. This is like a little spring.
I'm
So
going. Hmm. I'm gonna pretend I know what all of that means, but I'll pick up the crystals for you.
thank you, Tarsh. That's thank you. Well, here we'll put them in this in a little satchel. I don't think that they're biologically active, as far as I can tell. Um, well, I don't know. Does it? So how can we tell if this is like stable?
If you start
Like,
focusing on the vibe of it,
uh-huh.
it feels like each piece is its own little individual Ashtari cloud.
Okay. So it's crack.
So it's like crack. It's like
Crystal.
Jedi crack. I mean, way user crack.
Can we sell this? I'm just not gonna let it.
Is this whole
Wow.
campaign just like we gotta sell these worms, man? We gotta-
Celery said, "We breaking bad up in this bitch." Okay.
Captain, we have profit.
Oh God. Okay.
Hey, anything to pay for the warfare, yeah?
Well, I don't know if they'll be valuable or not. I can't even really be certain of what they are. I'd love to consult with the sisters of the Ashtari faith, if we have an opportunity. This seems like something that might be meaningful to us, for its place in the galactic spiritual constellation. And then, like, you see the caption underneath is like, we could probably use this to get high.
Okay.
But I don't know if everyone would like.
Want to?
I don't know if
I
people
mean-
have that. Like, I don't know if. Well, no, I don't know if people have that, like, understanding of the Ashtaris that we're using the secrets of the universe to, like, as mind altering substances or whatever.
For sure.
Um,
I know Jax would say, yeah, no, hey, go for it. Love it.
Do you must?
so I'm keeping them if that's okay with everyone else.
Did you want to have anything done with
Yep.
them? Like by any other members of the group, just to kind of like, answer some questions that might be answerable with their expertise?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we're all kind of gathered in like
Sure.
a crew area, like, and upturn the bag on the table, and like there's like all these little bismuth, crumbs on the table. Anybody have any idea what this is, or um, if it's safe to keep this around?
One way to find out.
Okay.
Yeah, I have an ability where
Yeah.
it says like Physiker, where you may study a malady, wound, or corpse and gather info from a crime scene.
Yeah. So you already know the crime.
Yeah.
You watched it in real time. Well, you might not have, but like the character kind of can, I guess. Um, so yeah, you would basically everything they're describing to you matches with the wound, the remnant of the wound. But I guess more or less what I would expect is like since you have a med bay, I mean, is there anything you can think you can do with that? Like kind of having the tools that you might want to do with this creature or the
I mean,
remnant?
of course, I'd want to take some samples and study them
Okay.
under any microscopes or, you know, uh, do experiments with how they interact with other matter.
Sure. And so I'm assuming you want the like bulk portion, like not the splatters, but more or less the worm cannoli, bismuth cannoli that you got. Okay. So if you do take that and do some scans and tests and studies on it, what you'll learn is like the egg shell. It seems to have a kind of resistance to most scans. However, after switching a couple of different frequencies, you learn that a very old style radiation ray technique allows you to scan through the corpse of the thing, and it doesn't appear to have a structure that matches any biological that you are aware of. It doesn't seem to have, based on the part that you have and the part that you kind of witness get taken, it doesn't appear to have an exit, so to speak. It had a mouth, but it doesn't have like an exit. It seems that its stomach is just that's it. It's like mouth to stomach, and you've got the bottom of the
You can
stomach.
say anus.
It doesn't
It's
appear
not
to
a bad
have an
word.
anus. Yes, it does not appear to have an anus. I'm just trying to be.
Eggs.
Then how does it
Does
you
it
know
throw it back up?
Well, it was a void, so it just would eat things and it would disappear.
Mm.
Don't know. We didn't get to see it eat. But what you do kind of trace too is that the material that the creature seems to be made out of is a very, very, very rare element that is kind of very high up on the elemental charts. But it is a baser element, and it is known as Ashtarothine. Ashtarothine. I will post that word in the Discord chat.
That sounds very, very profitable.
So it is rare, very, very, very rare. And what you note is that according to your information, it does not come in solids. Ashtarothine only is in one known elemental form that you are aware of and that your computers are aware of, and that's gaseous.
Fascinating.
And hearing this, Lupita, you would understand that this is indeed the same material, the same base element that makes up an Ashtari cloud. And as creatures like us are carbon based, and there's other life forms that are silicone based in this setting, this appears to be a creature that is Ashtarothine based.
Okay. That's normal.
This seems very
Okay.
rare, and I feel like we could get a lot of money for this.
So if it's normally in gaseous form, is that because it's in space and maybe it's solid because it's in our spaceship, which has controlled gravity?
Don't know.
Or does he absorb the gases, and now this is how he... Well, I don't know.
Well, I have here in this vial, and Lupita will pull out like a vial from around her, like this little necklace under her clothes, and there's like this little like glowing cloud of like, I don't know. I imagine it being like kind of purple pink cloud. Like this is uh Ashtarothine in gaseous form, and it's here with us now in the station. So,
Oh.
That's
or
made out
or
of that.
If you take the bottle, not cracking it, not having to scan it, and do a quick test, yeah, you would see that according to your computer, and it's very it's struggling to kind of explain it, but that is the gas of the element, that is the solid of the element, and it's not able to kind of compute like how it's broken down from a solid to a gas, or how it would be solidified from a gas to a solid. So, as some folks might be aware, science in science class we learned about the stages of matter, and obviously we currently think of it being the case that it goes from solid to liquid to gas as the atoms kind of spread apart. Um, Whether or not this does that or not, because some solids go straight to gas, some solids, you know, um, only go to liquid. Like it's very hard to get it to a gaseous state. So this is very much kind of not unlike that, right?
yeah,
Except that the middle's missing.
Well, it wasn't, because it was liquid blood for a little bit. It was the spaghetti.
Good catch.
So it's backwards. It was initially like a gas when it was a contained system, and then it was broken and became a liquid and then solidified.
Pico, you're a genius.
Yee! A drunk genius. Are there any snacks?
What if Biko accidentally
Yeah, but-
tried to eat a crystal?
Do you want that to be the way they go?
I kind of want to see what would happen. I don't know, just a thought.
Do you do it?
Yeah, I would like to pick up
Do it.
one of the little crystals and sniff it,
It
and then
doesn't really have a smell.
lick it.
Becco, no, I don't
It
think.
tastes like peppermint.
And then I try and
Yeah, you're not biting it. You definitely get a vibe that it's going to be harder than the teeth. So I don't know if you've ever bit metal before or not.
yeah.
But yeah,
And
similarly.
he's like, all right, and then he puts it down.
Becco, spit it out, spit it out.
Blech.
Well, when
Ugh.
when Becco does do that and you say spit it out, the parts that appear to have touched the metal do have kind of like a strange like oil in water kind of like iridescence on the tongue. It's almost like the pride tongue.
Hell yes!
Whoa,
Fried tongue!
Right.
that's so.
Let me see your mouth. Come here.
Give me your mouth.
Nah.
Oh, I want to see.
Do you scrape the tongue? Is that
Heck
right?
yes.
Okay. So you managed to extract a very, very small, like infinitesimally small amount of the substance that appears to have been liquefied. And you put that on like a small little, tray and check it, and like it seems that you kind of create a connection between the three elemental stages of it. It appears that the transient state between solid and gas, how it goes from point A to point B, isn't responsive in a way that seems to be physical. It seems to be outside of your mechanics' capabilities of tracking. It seems that something about Becco was applied to the metal that changed it into a liquid when they touched. And Lupita, as this is being said, you immediately understand life is the thing that made the thing go liquid.
Okay. Okay.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah. Like as a pondering.
Lick this again.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're able to get more samplings. It definitely seems not to be a very large repository. It's not a very quick process. But yeah, it does seem to be a method that, if you wanted to, like, the blood drop's probably, like, not too big, right? If that's the, the. If that's the everlasting gobstopper we're working on. You feel like just approximating. If you were to engage Becco as the stamp liquor du jour, like, for this process, it would take you the better part of like 3 years to just compound this little thing down to its liquid matter.
Does Becco have any side effects from feeling any side effects from this thing? Having
Ooh, great question. Do you have any points in attune, Becco?
Find out. Please load. I do not.
Okay. And so, what would you consider to be Becco's base state? Drunk or not drunk?
Not drunk.
Okay.
Oh, right now?
No, just in general.
In general, not drunk.
Yeah, you're definitely sobering up.
So it's like pulling the toxins out of.
It's like this delicious peppermint candy that you've been, been instructed to lick, and for whatever reason, the flavor of it, it's just kind of like leveling your head a bit.
Ah.
It would be like
Would
the
you-
opposite of being like really drunk and then someone ruining it by like making you have to like pay attention to a real life problem or something. It's like the
Yeah.
opposite of that. It's like being pulled out of drunkenness with like joy or good vibes.
Happy.
Would you kind of mention that to us, Becco?
I mean, you would probably notice because
Okay.
like he's just very emotive. So he'd just be making like happy little sounds and like just like happy and like much more chill and like less spastic than he was before.
And then he dies.
And then he
Well,
Lupita,
he was happy.
He died as he lived.
Lupita, some of this might be useful later down the road, medicinally. Do you mind if I keep some of this, and then you could do what you wish with the rest?
no, I think as a scientist, I'm sure you can find out more. I do, you can keep it all so that you can have, so that you're able to do your research. I do believe that the Ashtaris may have more information or may have um, a special purpose for something like this. So, um, hopefully the next time we're near uh, a uh, a chantry or a convent, maybe we can ask about it.
Yeah.
So with a very light amount of research, you would know that there is a oh god, what is it called when churches do missionary crap and they have like a mission? I guess would be the word I want.
Yeah.
Or mission.
Yeah, there is a
The
mission
emissary.
in Hisui, but it's not on the Kamash pylon. It
Okay.
is closer to the it's closer to the center of the city.
Yeah, so if we can like finish our biz, and if there's time to check out or to check in with the sisters, then maybe we can.
Perfect. So speaking of your biz, Captain Jazz, what's the plan? And obviously you have everybody there. Thane's probably, post shower cranking his hog or something. I don't know.
Oh my God,
Wow, that was violent.
John!
Wait,
There's children
very violent.
present.
This is a mature audience's stream.
I meant Johnny.
Are you sure? Is it anything
Wait,
close?
Oh god. Oh god.
Wait, does he have a bike?
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
He has a
He's
motorcycle. Johnny.
cranking it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Cranking that motorcycle.
Oh,
He's
oh
cranking
no!
the dog.
Wait,
We don't need anything
Remember,
else.
no, we got that sea bike
Yeah,
from
that's
when
it.
we attacked that
Yeah, that's the one.
I,
robot spider thing.
That's the thing. That's
Yeah.
what's happening. Nothing
That is the
else
thing.
will be happening. Why would you think there's no way? Like
That is what he's cranking.
that is what he's cranking. Okay. So you've got everybody besides that, and Oren's, obviously paying attention. If you're kind of in the
Right.
omnibus to the ship, if you want to kind of locate yourself on it, that's fine. Oh no.
I'm.
Go ahead.
I'm a little distracted. I'm sorry.
Oh, for the motorcycle, yeah, that makes sense.
The motorcycles.
Yeah, the hog crank. We work through the crystal stuff. The Smith. Then we're coming back to the ship.
Yep, and the crystal's in the med bay. If Zelry is sticking around with it and doing more tests, that's fine. Or if she is accompanying you in the kind of, oh, who's this person? They don't exist. Or if they're accompanying you to like the main kind of, space in the spaceship, it'd be like here.
No, Zelry's playing with her new toy.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Let's see. I muted again. So we've sold her lip egg, and we got this
Got to keep
crystal.
the leftovers.
Yep, got to keep the leftovers.
How it was scramble, but yeah.
Yep, and I have
Good there, bud.
forgotten the next part that we needed to do past that.
So the 3 jobs.
Right.
Anybody remember the 3 jobs?
oh,
One was
I did not write them down.
kidnap a prince.
Kidnap or kill a prince.
Yeah.
Yep.
there was a. I have
Remember, we did not want to kidnap the prince or kill it, or we didn't want to kill the prince. First
wanna
off,
kill him.
right? We two other options. One of them included Rain because he met with the people who knew the prince.
So
One of y'all has to meet
Is-
with some.
sounds like we need a quick refresher, and it's
It's
okay. Just in future, try and take notes.
Yes.
So, unless somebody wants to cover it and has notes,
I finished. Oh,
Is
you go.
Kimmy.
I have a cheat sheet.
go.
Sorry, I was eating a cookie. We're supposed to befriend the gangs beneath the clouds on the surface, capture or kill the prince,
Oh.
and break up a spy network run by the hegemonic news network and the pylon.
She wasn't even.
We were
here
going to
last
the
week.
surface.
Yep.
We were going to the surface, is what we were doing.
She wasn't even here last week, you guys. Good
Kimmy
shame.
coming in
I was
clutch.
gonna-
Good
Yeah.
We
shame.
were going to the surface.
Wow.
I was
Kimmy?
drunk.
Kimmy supremacy.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
My
for this
short-term
mission,
memory is that of Gerbil.
Kimmy has last
I
call
will
on who
just-
gets to spend gambits or not. That's the award.
Fair.
So wait, so there's a spy network that's like hegemonic, right?
Yeah.
Was there, and then we also got and this is sort of like an appendix, is we got a key for some kind of related thing, right?
Yeah, this is a separate matter. So the key that you got in trade, it is a relic. It is a key to an unknown facility or site of importance somewhere on the surface of the planet Parias. You do not know where to even start looking for that, but the key itself, I mean, is very much a sellable relic if you do not wish to engage with that. And I believe you could sell it if you wanted to either hegemonic relic seekers or, you know, any other faction probably on the planet for about 3 credits.
If we're not, well, I mean, I guess again,
Or,
that's
sorry,
like why
4 credits, sorry.
that's why it's sort of an appendix, right? Like it's like appendix?
That's fine.
Is that the right word?
That's a decent
Okay.
word usage, yeah.
Okay, I'm like, is that a word? So we can, if captain and the crew don't want to like become archaeologists randomly, and we want to sell it, I would posit that we sell it to the Ashtaris, and that's it.
Okay, and that's not like something you would benefit from.
Well, it's something that the Ashtari, sisterhood would benefit from.
Okay.
And we would, I mean, they would pay credits for it. I'm
Right.
sure.
It's a mutual. It's a mutual. Either way.
I think
Right.
what John's trying to suss out about what you said is, do you want to sell it or do you want to keep it? Because I think John's all on board with going, like Jazz would be all on board with going, like, searching for it. Is that fair to say, John?
Yes, that is fair to say.
Oh, if we want to search for it, I think, anything that we could discover could benefit the Ashtaris for sure, and the spiritual health of the galaxy. So either way, I think I would be glad to serve on a mission to learn more about this key and to track the whereabouts of its vault and to explore its vault if it comes down to it.
Yep, that's what we were going to be on the surface anyway, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So if we're there, kill 2 birds,
Okay.
We're killing
You're-
birds.
What's birds?
Oh, it's just
It's
what?
it's the thing that the old governments used to use to spy on their people.
Well, it's a very,
Ah.
What? That was
Okay.
giant.
a
That
very,
was like giant, deadly flying creatures. Ghouls
I'm
come
actually
in,
not-
swoop in, and
That's perfect. I'm not going to comment on that. I'm not good.
Hmm.
Good job, John. That's great. That's
Just
canon.
saying.
That's perfect. I know what you're referencing to, and I love it.
Yep.
Birds are,
Essentially drones.
So, the surface. That's the plan. Do you wish to go as soon as possible, or do you want to spend some time planning and go tomorrow? Keeping in mind that Steve is not currently here. There was a plan for Steve to have his character Thane meet with hegemonic persons of interest. If
Right.
you'd like, what we can do, since he is not here, we can just say he is doing that while you are on mission, doing what you're doing, and then we can kind of cover his matter, either off screen in the Discord via chat, or we can handle it next session at the beginning of the session, or whenever he gets here tonight.
I think that's the best bet.
Yeah, that works for me too. Okay, so then planning tonight then is the goal. Okay, what would you like to do in setup before you make your way down to the surface? Is there any operations, activities or anything you'd like to do before you descend, and however you descend also is another kind of point of import. How would you like to kind of go forward with this?
I definitely think we need to. Is this a planet without oxygen?
So the planet has oxygen.
Okay.
It will definitely be slightly less good below the cloud line, as we discussed, kind of high pollution. But most folks in here have kind of dealt with cityscapes, so it's not an uncommon occurrence. Tarash will obviously not be as good, so he might want to wear like, a gas mask, like oxygen feeder. And yeah, I think everybody else should be good.
Other than that, do you have any contacts for your vault?
Are you talking about the the vault, or the key that we're looking for?
No, not the air key, but the.
Because right now we have three kind of things that are like on the main, like on the main plate, the main dinner plate: befriending some gangs, kidnapping a prince, and dealing with the spy network. And then the only contact that I would have for the relic is the Ashtaris.
Right.
You wanted to go talk to them anyway about this
We could talk to them. We could go talk to the gangs.
worm body parts.
Oh, right. So that's another thing, is we needed to talk to the Ashtaris about the worm.
Right. Seems like they'll be interested in what transpired up there.
Okay. We still have a regular schmegular mission that we should probably focus on.
Right. Which is finding the vault.
No!
No.
No! That's
It is
the
happening.
It's like the side quest.
that's the side quest.
I think he's trying to say that he's changing it.
He was.
Oh.
I like where your head's at, Captain. I heard the word
Yeah.
vault too. I'm
Or-
interested.
Or he's genuinely confused. It could go either
Or-
way with John. I don't know.
Or he's generally confused.
Oh no.
So we didn't hear about the vault, I think, until the weird way eater person showed up, right?
Yeah.
So like that's the most brand new thing.
Yeah, but
So
we
we
can't
already
just
had
go
stuff.
after the most brand new thing.
I know, like
Why
that's what I'm
can't we?
saying.
Hey,
Where's Stain? I'm scared.
Why can't we?
I need an
Listen,
adult.
Bolt.
I need-
What could be in there?
I need my rock.
Anything.
I need my rock.
Need your
Oh, man.
rock. You want some of this?
Oh.
Ash Torini?
Astaroth.
Say it again. Sorry.
Do you want
Oh,
Jazz to be
Ash
even worse than he
Tarafi?
is right now?
You know what? Lick this. Lick this stone. You'll feel better.
Lick stone. Lick stone.
Do you have any points in it too?
Me?
Yeah.
In a tune?
Uh-huh.
Just a moment.
I'm always gonna have these in my pockets now. I'm gonna
Probably not.
Oh.
Probably not.
Anytime someone
we-
freaks out, you're like, put it in your mouth.
No, I got zero. I got zero.
It tastes like peppermint. Nothing changes.
Oh my
about you.
God.
Okay.
If you are a fan
we
of
just-
You
peppermint,
need to save one for when Dax gets back, because I'm pretty sure she has a tune, and I want to know what it tastes like if you're.
Oh,
you
of
have a tune.
course. I'm
Oh.
always gonna have some. Wait, does it do anything for Jazz? He doesn't like
tastes like peppermint. Doesn't make
Doesn't
him feel any better.
He's like,
doesn't sober him up
Oh,
or nothing?
I'm presuming being kind of confused is your base state, right, John?
Today, yeah.
No, just in general, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah, like he's very
Lazy.
devil may care. He's just handling his business. I don't think there's anything that's off about him in his current presence, right?
Oh, thank
Oh.
God. Oh, thank God.
I'm just gonna shrug my shoulders, put back in my pocket.
We need an adult.
Really
we're
do.
just like the ADHD crew.
Oh, that was so funny.
Did we figure out what we're doing yet, or is that just we're gonna keep doing
No, we spent the better part of an hour just kind of licking rocks, I guess.
this? I mean, are you
Oh.
surprised though?
No, I'm having a great time.
Oh.
We've learned a bit though, and we also have
Oh,
connects.
thank God!
But we just have to determine
You
what's
just
next.
logged into the Roll20, or
He's in the Zoom call. Yeah, we know.
We have an adult.
He just
Oh, I
gotta
didn't
he's
know
gotta,
you
he's gotta
joined.
fix his audio. He's having problems with the mic.
That's it.
Nope. Nope.
Just the Urbot.
He is the Urbot now. He's Zach's character, and Zach is his character. I don't know.
Is that any better?
That's the best, actually.
There we go.
Real quick synopsis.
Good
You want to know
things
what you missed?
Sure.
The people left, and they left the body of the thing on the ground. When they looked at it, it looked like the insides were like crystallizing, like bismuth. If you're familiar with the element, they picked it up when it bled. The blood turned into crystals. Then, after a few moments, instead of having kind of like a negative feeling of the way, like a dead thing should, it started like becoming very vibrant with the way for Lupita, which made her kind of like, at first she was like, I don't want any of that. Then she was like, I want all of that. And so they scraped it off the deck. They brought it back on board. They learned that it's made out of a material called ashtarothine, which is an element that is kind of the main crux of Ashtari clouds. It is very, 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 very rare, and it is only ever seen in gaseous state. So it being seen in a solid state is very confusing. Becco clearly pointed out they've seen the liquid state of it because the creature obviously had like liquid blood. And then they started licking the rocks. Becco started licking the rocks. It tastes like peppermint. It seems to have cleared their drunken state a bit. And then they went to the main office to start talking about their next step. The discussion has gone in a few directions, namely due to Captain Jazz's just absolute lovability and handsomeness. Mainly because he thinks that the key that they got in that trade is now like job number 1, despite there being 3 rebel jobs on the docket. And those 3 rebel jobs of the lot, they've decided that going down to the planet is the one that they want to focus on first. But we haven't really talked about the planning stages of that, or when that'll happen. It's still technically late in the evening. It's not quite the turning point where it starts to become the early part of morning, but we're getting there. And that's where you're at. You're standing in the kind of the meeting room on the main level, the main deck of the ship, with everybody, and except for Oren, who's in the pilot section.
So going down to the planet, that would be using, or like getting the meeting with that priestess, because that's where they said they were going, right?
No,
Down.
so they're going down to the cloud level. They're not going below it, and that's where the prince's place is located. They're
So if we
meeting with
did
prince.
if we went planet side first, we would miss that opportunity.
It's potentially possible, depending on how long you stay planet side.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll just let
I think
Captain.
last time we agreed that we don't want to assassinate the prince.
no, but we can kidnap them.
So it's not about assassinate with the Thane situation. Thane's meeting with the prince,
Right.
under the guise of being someone he's not. So
Yes, I think that's what we were kind of waiting to move on, right?
it's
Yeah,
one
it
thing.
is. It's more of
Okay.
like a get information, hear what's going on at that like level of politics, because I don't think it's probably terribly easy to get an audience with a prince. So it would just kind of like being able to hear from theirs directly from the horse's mouth what the goings are on the around here. I thought
Right.
could be useful. I didn't think we were gonna like make any moves in this meeting. It was more just like information gathering.
Yeah, and I think we were going to wait on that. And I am very sure we were going to go to the surface, and it was possibly talk to the gangs.
Yeah, that's fine. More than likely, if I don't make this meeting, it's probably going to be too sussy, and they probably won't trust me again.
Right. No,
but,
I understand.
like tier loop, I'm good with whatever though.
Or was it that we were going to go to the surface and fuck around with the key while he does that? Okay.
Well, while he does that is kind of a situation where we get into kind of concerning, right? So we can definitely go ahead and do that, but there's no reason for you to believe that the flight to the surface is going to be all like, that's it. Especially since what you're trying to do when you go down there is talk to people and convince them to join you. So if you think
So
you can
let's
handle
send our
that,
speaker
Jazz,
away.
Okay, I don't know. I just
both of the missions you've employed
this is
here.
the understanding that I remember from the last session.
Okay.
But okay.
Yeah, the vault key is something else, right? It is something that's been added and tacked on. It is not a mission that you've been given. If you want to just ignore the missions
Right.
and focus on the key, that's absolutely your prerogative. But it's not one of the 3 that you were given by Chemical Steven in the Donnie Rainbow.
Okay. I guess this is me saying if anybody specifically remembers what we were trying to focus on last time, because I believe it was the gangs,
Yeah, I think
right?
I did.
that's fair.
Yeah, the specifics I
Mm.
don't recall. I don't know if we got that specific, but
Yeah, I don't.
right, Johnny,
Yeah, like I don't think it was just like all up in the air.
we didn't
I
get
think we,
there
Like
before
Okay.
the
Yeah.
end of the session.
Okay.
So, um,
Right. So if we're focusing in on the gang situation, going down to the surface and talking to the gangs, I need to ask important question number 1 before we get into that. I did ask a question before Steve got here, but now that we have Steve here, there's a question that's more important and takes precedent. So that question is the goal to leave Steve's character Thane behind so that he can engage with this meeting, risking it all on his side, and whatever happens with him with no backup or even close to assertion of backup? Or does he skip the meeting and go down with you planet side to help with your negotiations with the unknown elements that are on the surface?
so I think this is like kind of meta, or like kind of from like a player observation. It seemed like they were kind of already suspicious, especially
It
the
did.
male, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
The
that was
soldier or whatever.
the soldier. Yeah. So I don't know if there's any way to really like.
So I'm not going to answer that question if it was directed at me, but I am going to point it to the group. If you
It wasn't. I mean, it was like an
General.
observation
No,
to
the soldier
the
was
group.
definitely.
Yeah. I do
Suspicious.
remember. I do remember him being suspicious. Him specifically. The rest kind of being more
And
like,
then one of the
oh,
one of the
whatever
chicks was
about it.
too,
Okay.
kinda.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we understand the question because Steve's already caught to it. He said, I'll do it if you want me to, or not if you don't want me to. Right, Steve? Is that fair?
Yeah, like Soldier Boy, you can think whatever he wants. He won't do anything unless he's given a command.
So,
So as long as I keep texting sweet nothings to this priestess, it should be good.
so the captain is the one who ultimately needs to make the call. You can think what you want to think on the situation.
Right.
You definitely know it was a tense situation, therein last night. So it's up to you, Captain Jazz. Steve has put the ball into your court on whether or not he goes through with the meeting to meet with the prince, or whether he declines it and goes on mission with you.
Whatever you think will be more helpful for the cause, Captain.
Do we all get to meet the prince?
What's that?
I said if you have to go meet the prince, do we all get to meet him or just Thane?
Just think.
No, just saying.
I could probably bring 2 of you disguised as other officers. Technically, there'd be a commander and a captain above me, so I could probably bring 2 of you disguised as officers. But you would probably be getting questions directed your way since you would technically outrank me. So it could get a little cray, but it could also be a lot of fun.
I mean, that is sounding pretty fun. At the same time, we need to make sure everybody else's time's utilized. Can we talk about which of the 3 rebel missions it was again?
So
Just to
the mission for the rebel mission that you've decided on, the one that you're focusing in on so far as I've seen, is that you're going to the surface and attempting to find the gangs that have been causing issues on the surface, the remnants of the pilgrims that came to this planet originally, and also the descendants of them. And you're wanting to muster them to serve as a rebel force against House Hachi here in Hisui.
right. If we put over Thane to the Prince thing, that's going to be a no-go, especially if there's 3 other people.
Right. Or if it's just Thane, it's still going to be very difficult, especially since negotiations are like bread and butter of that mission.
Thane, you're going to come with us.
No problem.
All right.
I will try my best to send a text or an email to try to keep my cover intact, and just in case we need to use this priest as a contact later before she leaves planetside or like leaves the area. But it might be a long shot, but I'll see if I can smooth it over.
Perfect.
So go ahead and make a sway roll for me. Standard and controlled.
Yep.
Okay.
A 6.
So you use the knowledge that you gleaned from the other night and basically say, our mission has been forwarded. We're going to head down to the surface already. So I'll have to reconvene with you at another point. And then there's no reply.
All right. Well, hopefully that doesn't bite us in the butt later, but I trust your judgment, Captain.
It's more important that we get the people involved.
Okay. Now, the question I asked before Steve came on board, and I want to make sure we put it forward again, and it's one that's necessary here in the planning steps, is how do you wish to engage this problem? There are a lot of questions you can ask, and a lot of things that you can do in the science fiction kind of mentality of stuff. I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. I will try to move forward with the actions and plans you have and to suggest. So much as to say, like, I feel it's possible for you to kind of engage with those specific practices. What I mean is if you say, can we scan the surface and see if we can't find anything? Keeping in mind your scanners so far, as we've seen, have been proven to not be great, unless you've gotten an upgrade on those scanners since last time we dealt with scanning, which I don't think is true. So, other than those small little caveats I'll be putting into it to just make sure it's balanced neatly, we should be fine with most of the questions that you're going to be asking. So, take your time, think about what you want to do, think about what you want to ask. If you want to ask the group about stuff, go ahead. If you want to ask me directly, go ahead.
When you guys were talking to Chemicals, Steven, did he give any indication of which gangs posed the most threat to House Hachi, or did he indicate any sort of hierarchy among them?
He wouldn't have.
Do we have a contact on the surface?
You do not.
Is our method of transport down there? Are we taking? Do we have a would we take a shuttle down there?
Could.
Or is it just a really long elevator?
Could do that too. It's up to you how you want to proceed. But both of those options are satisfactory.
So then once we're on the surface, is it
for the context of this? Sorry to cut you off there, Magpie. But just real quick, for the context of this question, I want to make sure you understand why I'm asking it the way that I am, and why we're directing it in this fashion. On page 148 of the Scum and Villainy Handbook, planning engagement asks us to determine which plan we're moving towards. So we're trying to get the details of the plan that you are engaging with and how you're going to get this contact, how you're going to get to this position. So obviously, looking at the choices, the first choice for you would probably very much be social, right?
Yeah.
Makes
But
sense.
you
And play crude charm.
You can possibly see that there are other options present. Deception could be the method that you engage these people. You do so by luring them out, tricking them, or manipulating them into a discourse. Now, when I say that, I mean to say the job isn't the finality, right? The job is really just getting the meat and then hoping that the successful portion is you have them come on board. But how we get that meat is important. So it could be a negotiation, it could be a bargaining thing, it could be a persuasion. If you're going to have that be the way of it, what's your edge? What's your angle? What are you doing to kind of negotiate with? What are you bargaining, right? Infiltration. You try to land on the planet incognito and make your way into the gangs without them knowing that you're not part of their gangs, and move amongst them, and then get to meet kind of a little bit more of the I'm being hired on to talk to the boss type thing. I mentioned the deception thing. You could just fight them, beat the crap out of them until they, bring out their leader, and then you tell them, we're not trying to kill you all. There's options. But again, the thing that I'm wanting you to focus on is not so much the mechanic of how that happens, it's what you want to know and what you in character, during the scenes, are kind of doing to make this happen with the little information that you have.
I feel like Becca would gravitate towards any children that are running around down there. Mostly because he thinks they're just small people that are his size. And then he'd be talking to them. So I don't know that he's gonna be much of a help. Unless you guys give him a task. He's
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple of ticks in consort. So I think. Well, first of all, I would say that I would advocate for us to treat this as a social mission versus anything else. Does anybody disagree?
Absolutely not. I think the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would definitely be my first choice as well.
Okay.
Your
So
job.
then I would like, I mean, Lupita, I think would probably defer to Thane, but also I would want to, I don't know if there's uh like a TripAdvisor for this planet, kind of thing available in this galaxy of like where the locals hang, like what or even like what places are avoided, like what places should be avoided
I had to go back
because
to the
there's like
scan.
Below the clouds, and also below the 40 level of the comet's pylon would be the TripAdvisor commentary on the pylon you're in. So most folks do not descend beyond the 42nd floor, and most folks don't descend below the cloud line. It is a combat zone beneath the clouds.
okay.
According to everything that you got up here, it is, yeah, it's literally just a hellscape of people murdering, killing. Think of a horrible act that can be done to somebody that's probably being done down there, according to the information you're getting on the news reports and all the informational like databases you have this high
Do
up
we
on the
get the
pylon.
sense that that's like accurate, or is it hegemonic propaganda?
Well, you're only able to pull hegemonic news networks information because that seems to be the only news facility that's available in the pylon. So you can decide whether or not it's fake news or not.
I mean, I think as rebels, we all probably have a healthy mistrust of the
Usually fake news.
the propaganda.
You don't say.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I was thinking I do still have a acquire asset that is kind of I've been saving for a flashback, and one of them things you can acquire is a service. Um,
Okay.
I'm thinking, could we potentially use that to gain the service of a local informant who might be able to glean us some information about kind of what I was saying before? Who are these gangs? What are their territories? Is there one that kind of stands above the rest? Like essentially an informant from the streets would be the service I'm looking for.
Sure. So, let's see.
There is a role to be made to determine how good of an informant this guy would be, and just so you don't give anything away for free.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is chronologically, there's no flashback temporally that I can kind of fit into you being on the
Oh,
pylon. You know what I'm saying? So since like we're flashing back, this would be somebody that you would have met in Cogito that would have given you information from there. Does that make sense to you?
yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, if okay, and if there's no okay, I see what you're saying. But yeah, only if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll
I mean, so what I would say is if you want to spend it, it's basically going to be a situation where the person that will eventually serve as your guide, you are given a kind of name and a contact for, but you have yet to meet with that individual. If you want to use that resource here, you're being given it by um, uh, Kane back on Cogito.
I have a thought, and
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
mean, maybe I'm crazy to think this, but can't we just say it's not a flashback and you're just using the gain an asset right now?
Well, so no, because it's not downtime. So because it had to have been accrued during downtime, it needs to have
Oh,
happened then.
oh, it's a downtime activity. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a freebie asset you can just pull out of your anus, like the circuit.
Oh, now you want to say it. Now
Well,
you know.
you
Now you
gave
know
me
the
the
word.
okay, so I'm going nuts. Going ham with that anus.
Oh no, John.
So does that work for you, Steve, or do you want to hold it?
yeah, no, that will work because I feel like we're kind of. It sounds like we might be in a bit of drawing a bit of a blank. So if we have like a direction, like this guy we can talk to, I think that could get our boots on the ground.
So the individual that, um, the individual that Kane tells you to meet with is a guy named Double Tap. Double Tap is a individual that you can meet in a establishment on the 42nd floor of the Comet's Pylon, and it is an old antique shop. Whether or not he is available at this time, you're not sure. You'd have to go down there and check. But everything below the 42nd, you presume, is, if you're buying into it, is horrible and not great.
So we're going to the 42nd floor.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yep.
good.
Who are you taking with you? Is it everybody?
Well, at least Thane. Likes antiques.
Ooh.
Becco's like, I'm an antiquer from way back.
Right.
I'm assuming this is happening the same night, so yeah, Becco, actually, you're sober. You're
I like the rock.
yeah, you lick the rocks. So
Are
yeah,
we going in the middle of the night, or are we waiting till morning? Because he's in a store. Is the store open 24 like all night?
if you check the registry, like for the Comet's Pylon, it appears that they're still open.
Oh, cool.
Get your late night
Here we go.
antiques.
Next
Some
time
peop-
to go to gas.
Your antiques from Double Tap.
Some people get drunken tattoos. Some people get drunken china.
Antique.
Yes.
Okay, so it sounds like everybody's going. Is that right?
Sure.
Okay. On the descent down, you are able to make it to the 42nd floor, and you'll note that there appears to be, for the floors beneath that, on the comm display, like the console display, any floors below that appear to have a lockout that requires access codes, security access codes to be entered in. So you can't even get to the 41st floor or below unless you were hacking it or you had the codes. So you descend to the 42nd floor. Upon arrival, you'll note that it is very narrow hallways and kind of very not exactly aggrandized kind of structure here. What I mean by that is it doesn't look like there's any paint. It looks like it's just kind of stock build, and it looks like the space is a bit dirty, a bit rusty on its edges, not exactly well kept. When you kind of move through the hallway from the elevator to kind of the central area, you'll see that there are 3 doors and then a stairwell. The stairwell goes down and up, but on the descent portion of the stairwell, you can see that there is devices on the sides that appear to be motion sensors. And standing not too far from there, just near one of those doors, is a hegemonic soldier. It looks like the door he's standing in front of is a very small makeshift, like, police station. He sees you approach into the center space as like a tourist group, and you can hear, and this is going to be a very hard reference for some because you probably haven't played Half-Life 2, but I know Steve will be right there with me, and so will John. But when the Combine use their radio systems, it kind of creates an external audio sound. And that is absolutely true for the hegemonic soldiers as well. So it definitely seems like he has just got onto comms for whatever reason upon your entry here. And he's also readying his rifle. What do you folks do in response? You can also see that the other 2 doors appear to be shops. One of them is called Walker's Antiques, which is the
Are we
store.
on the mission already?
Yeah,
No, we're
Are we
still
on the
free-
antique floor?
We're still on free play. Yeah, floor 42. Walker's Antiques is the name of the shop. It's right across the way there.
Sorry,
Dude.
was this?
Mm,
Gary, go
We're
ahead.
going
Go ahead.
towards it.
I was just gonna ask. You said he was readying his weapon.
Not like pointing it at you, just basically powering it up.
Like, you know how cops put their hands on the gun?
That's exactly right, Magpie.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
So is he an actual hegemonic soldier or just a guy wearing their armor, like you had said
You
before,
can-
like some of the guards wear their armor?
You can tell by the cleanliness and the kind of just exact kind of shape up. Also, a matter of how they fasten their belt. This is very much a hegemonic soldier.
Lupita is gonna kind of like melt into the background and grab Becco and kind of like when mom puts their kid behind, like, don't talk to me or my son, and let, Thane kind of take the lead.
So I just want to make sure I'm checking with everyone. Thane, do you continue moving to the antique shop? Stop? Hesitate? What are we doing here for the scene?
I'll fire him off a good old salute, and then we can just move forward. Like, yeah.
Okay.
To the shop.
So
I'll blow him a kiss.
I'm not gonna flash my badge or anything. I'm not trying to wear it out.
yeah, he'll give
And
you a
he's-
salute back, and obviously the salute isn't like a common practice that's openly visible. It's definitely something that's done more kind of like on military sites. So when he sees this, he doesn't seem to reply or anything or make any assertions. He just kind of lowers his weapon and kind of stands at ease after the salute is concluded. And then you make your way to the shop, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay. Does everybody follow, or do you wait around like tourists?
Hello.
Okay. So if everybody goes in, you very quickly realize your folly. I don't know if you've ever been to a very small antique shop before.
Yeah.
These kind of like
Oh,
hole in
no.
the walls. But you're basically all kind of like charging into this very narrow,
Oh,
2.5 foot wide aisle that is in between two
breakable
shelves
thing.
made of rickety wood, filled with all sorts of just trinkets and baubles. You've got small little porcelain statues and all these
Everything
little
rattled.
crystal. Everything's kind of got like a jingle to it, yeah. And
Can
you
we
got-
say that me and Tarash stay outside
that's fine?
and keep
Yeah,
kind of keep a lookout?
Okay.
kind of like Lupita just like pulls him back before he goes in. Where he like smashes everything by accident.
Okay. And then, everyone else, Zelry, Jazz, Thane, you're all going, and Thane or Becca's going in as well too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's here
So-
for the antique.
You come in, and there's kind of like a individual kind of towards the back of the space that you can kind of see in between, like trinkets, shelves, and whatnot. They appear to be kind of like surrounded by a mist or a smoke of some sort, and the entire place has this very pleasant kind of just incensey kind of smell to it. Once one of you finally makes it to the counter, I'm assuming Thane with the lead, you see an old lady with a like very narrow like black cigarette holder, holding what appears to be like a crystal that's burning at the tip, and she's kind of placing it to her lips as you move up. Her hair is kind of done up with a bunch of different needles and long kind of pins. She just doesn't look happy. She looks very just kind of annoyed by your presence. She wears very simple clothing, simple attire. And Thane, you're also not dumb. You'd note that her other hand appears to be underneath the counter, presumably on some sort of last resort or kind of stock out weapon that's probably connected to the underside of the counter. She says, "Yeah, welcome Welcome to Walker's Antiques. Can I get you something?
Are you Walker?
Who's asking?
Like, Becco just kind of like, tries to like pull himself up so he can be seen over the counter.
Oh, it's not that tall.
Huh?
The counter's not that tall. You're not short.
Yes, I am. You told me I was a little cat.
No, no, they're human sized.
No. No, they're not.
They
Well,
are.
Becco isn't.
Not in my head.
Becco isn't.
That's always
He's
been
short.
the case. What are you
I thought
talking
they were
about?
all-
I have been-
Becco's a
Well, I
short
was
king.
Yeah, I thought he was like. I thought they were tiny.
No.
Definitely been
That's
imagining
something.
Becco as a short
Yeah, I
king.
thought Becco
no,
was a
that
short
has
king.
not been the case in my brain at all. Because image are human sized. I showed you a picture of a guy from Red Dwarf. Like he's 5
Yeah,
foot
but then
11.
I don't know what that is.
we took your reality and substituted our own.
You didn't even
In
take
my
notes
head-
for last session. What are you guys talking about?
Listen, in
Did, but
my head,
on
they're
about
like
them.
those.
Hold on. We're gonna come to an agreement that's in the middle. So you're probably around 4'8". Okay, you're short,
Okay.
but you're not.
Okay.
You're not like halfling sized.
Okay. So like he'll peek over the top of the corner of that
Got it.
counter then.
And she'll say, "Who's asking?"
Hi. Are these all your antiques?
Are
Your
you trying
Walker?
to? Are you trying to buy something or not?
Maybe.
Who travels around with 4 people in the middle of the night coming down to an antique shop on the bottom floor?
I had a lot to drink earlier.
I'm proud of you. I guess that explains the wandering, though. Sure.
Kind of just a quick glance at some of the antiques. Is there any? Kane was the way user, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any antiques that would be like way related, even if they're like they don't have any power or anything? Just, you know what I'm just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of like associated, like with that religion or with the way. Like,
I'm going to ask you a question. It's more out of game knowledge, but if you are familiar with this terminology, then we can kind of move past a lot of descriptive text. Do you know what a crystal mommy is?
crystal mommy?
Arian Williams.
On it.
Yeah, do you know what a
Is
crystal
that
mommy is?
A crystal mommy? No.
Okay. So there are a lot of trinkets closer to the
I love
front
that.
that are basically just like, there's like a geode, there's like quartz,
Oh.
there's like all these different crystals that are close to the front with strange kind of writing like on paper next to them and prices.
Yeah, I'll grab definitely not a Kaiba crystal, and I'll kind of like look at my fingers, and then I'll kind of look at her. Said, yeah. My friend said there would be rain tomorrow, but I'm not quite sure.
Oh yeah. She kind of looks over her shoulder. So what's it to me?
He said you were something of a forecaster in these parts. Perhaps you could be of give us some more a more accurate
Oh.
reading.
You're not for me, you're for Cooper. Hold on a second. Cooper! Cooper, one of those assholes from Coquitos here.
It's trying to be so cool.
Fair.
I love that. I love
Hold on a
that.
second, hold on.
That's so
hold on,
great.
honey. Just give him a bit. He's probably putting his pants on.
Thane visibly blushes like he's embarrassed.
Aw.
Aww.
Oh, by the way, you have a motorcycle now.
Oh yeah, you have a more.
If it makes you feel any better.
God.
Yeah,
You see the
that's right.
curtain kind of open up,
Definitely.
and you see a dashing young man kind of come through, probably somewhere in his like late 20s, kind of pop through and go, "What is it? Who? Oh, hi, an Imish, Kogito.
Hi.
Okay, who the fuck sent you? Was it Kane?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Kane.
Name's Cooper. You can call me Double Tap. Double Tap.
There
my
it is.
ass. What are you talking about? Shut up, you fucking kid. Your name's Cooper. Cooper Reynolds. thinks he's
Mr.
all
Reynolds.
important just because he bagged a hegemonic ship one time. Fucking guy. And he kind of like shakes his head. Come around to the back. Got a little bit more space for you folks to sit down. You doing okay? The soldiers didn't give you any problems outside, did they?
No.
Okay.
Oh, not after.
Kind of winds you around the corner into the back as he's saying that. But go ahead and answer, John.
I was gonna say not after Soldier Boy here gave him a salute.
Oh yeah, UX.
Yeah, Thane Black at your service.
Gestures to a table, and the room's kind of like dimly lit. Not a lot of stuff in here. Not a lot of clutter. He walks over to a cooling unit, pops it open, and grabs a couple of long neck bottles of some beverage. Kind of looks at Becco, not sure. Grabs a small little packet of something. Walks over, sets the packet in front of Becco, which is effectively Space Capri Sun, and then the 3 bottles. Three bottles. Got 2 other people, right? Oh no, Zelry's here. So 4 bottles he had. One for himself, one for the rest of you folks. So yeah,
Pacific cooler.
you were sent out here. Kane sent a message. You know how the way users are. Kind of unnerving. You know, you're having a great dream about something, and then out of nowhere, there he is in the middle of your dream saying, expect a man to come and meet with you. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to enjoy the one bit of life I got going on for me, because every waking hour is shit, right? So anyways, you're here to meet with the gang members, huh?
I'd say we're open to.
Great. So I know my way around down to the lower levels. He gestures to the kind of space that you're in, and then kind of points to underneath the table you're sitting at. We've got a way to the lower levels that the soldiers outside don't know about. They've scanned the area several times, but we are able to always keep it hidden. They're kind of dumb. But yeah, we can get you down to the 41st. From there, we can kind of move our way down. Most of the folks beneath us are pretty simple folks. Keep to it. Despite the hegemonic propaganda saying that they're gang related, most of the folks in the 41st and below are just trying to kind of make a living for themselves. Unfortunately, what that means is that they're doing a lot of factory jobs for the hegemony, and they're not really being properly compensated for it. So some of the people down there can be just depends.
Grumpy.
No.
Most are willing to do whatever they can to kind of get a leg up in the world, and there's some folks who have tried to whistleblow on what we're doing, but so far, as I say, we've been pretty good about it. Some of the stuff outside, you probably weren't terribly interested, but it's stuff we've been finding on the surface, old pilgrim shit. So far, we haven't found anything like really tangible, but the gangs, kind of air quotes, are just the remnants of the pilgrims, and they're still doing the same job. They're still looking for shit.
Okay.
It's my understanding that the new prince or guy in charge is wanting to take over the process, but I don't know if the leader of the gang is going to be very interested. His name's Josiah Steele, and he's kind of a hard ass, but he keeps his folks protected. Finding him's going to be a problem. I'm more than happy to help. I can get you to him. But once you're there, you're going to have to come to him correct. He's definitely going to not be very interested in meeting with rebel forces. It's the last time that he linked up with folks like that was, I want to say, about 5 cycles back, and kind of burnt out a lot of the folks still on surface. A few folks died, and not a good situation overall. Not a lot of trust that he's going to be passing along, unless you got a plan, unless you got something concrete, you know. So if you've got something to give him, if you've got something to negotiate with, that might sweeten the deal here.
What does he need?
Well, pretty sure that the main thing on his list is the head of the leadership of House Hachi. It's probably the main thing that he'd be really interested in. Barring that, like lower members of the house, you know, dead and gone, dealt with. A lot of the information that's present here bars them from being able to engage directly with the pylon. Like I said, they're able to deal with the first 41st, but the you might have noticed most of the food reception comes from above, comes from down, comes from the black. So we don't really have much in the way of that kind of generation. So the smuggling of such materials, it's difficult, especially since we're just getting it through the hole there. But we have other means of getting stuff down there. It's just that because of the propaganda, because of the absolute control of the hegemony here, it's very hard to kind of get stuff like that past folks, especially when folks are willing to turn over whoever for, you know, another little bit of bite to eat or maybe a pay rise, whatever. It's dog eat dog out here.
It's understandable.
It's the usual MO for the hegemony, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, fucking shit show. I mean, of course, you're probably wondering, like, how you're going to trust this guy and his crazy, you know, grandma and everything. But I get it. It's fine. If you trust Kane, I trust you. And Kane trusts me, so hopefully that infers a little bit of trust on your end.
Yeah, he's an honorable guy. I'd say so.
All right.
Especially within our dealings.
When do you want to get going? And you got anything to bargain? I can tell you, like I said, Josiah definitely wants assistance with a lot of the matters up above the cloud, especially pertaining to everything going on there. But more so than that, I guess they'd also be interested in relics. Any leads on those?
Yeah. Actually, we got a key for
Oh yeah,
her vault.
that might work.
Look.
Uh,
There's profit, and then there's the rebellion. All right. Second, we might have I don't know if we burned it, but we might have an in with the prince. Right thing.
Potentially.
Well,
But that potentially might have been burned.
I don't think we're looking for an in. I'm thinking we're looking for kind of an out, like the prince being knocked out and like thrown
Right.
off of a pylon,
Right.
and like prove
That's
of
that's it. Into that. The into the out.
that. Sure. I know that Josiah is really not much for, mercy or anything, and most
Okay.
rebels, kind of surface side, are not gonna, or most of the members of the Pilgrim group are not gonna be too interested in niceties with the hegemony because of what they've done. So
Of course.
I don't
I mean,
know.
neither am I.
Okay, good. Yeah, we just know that there's some folks who call themselves rebels up who've tried before to kind of create connects, and just sounds like they're a little less serious.
I don't know. After I can speak for myself, but at least after what they've done to me, I'm not for the niceties.
I'm sure if you rolled with Kane, you probably, have seen your fair share of killing hegemonic folks. So then, yeah, no problems here. Great. So, yeah, tomorrow morning you want to go, or you want to go right now?
Y'all up to it now, or do we want to wait a little bit?
We probably should get a good night's
You-
rest.
And
You guys are outside.
and discuss our bargaining.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm outside.
Okay.
This dude we're meeting is, I'm assuming he's he's 41st floor below.
He's on the surface.
Yeah, he's on the surface.
Yeah, so we probably need some, like, I assume we didn't really come here with equipment,
No,
or
probably not.
did, like,
No.
because it's free place, so no loadout. So yeah, we should probably get equipped, maybe get a good night's sleep.
You folks want to go through the tunnel hatch, or do you got another way down, like a shuttle or something?
Oh, we can shuttle down.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
What's
Is
the
there?
best-
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the best way down? Do you think?
I mean, define best. I mean, if you take the shuttle down, you could have got a good chance of being spotted by hegemonic radar, hegemonic eyes, and ears.
Yeah.
That's always going to be a problem. But if you make your way down, you've got a bunch of people who, if they see you, catch wise, understand what's going on, might tell a soldier, could lead to the whole, hornet's nest, start buzzing. Neither way is good. Every way is going to require a little bit of operational attention. But I'd say the
Right.
quickest and probably, less, chances, just the one very big chance, is take a shuttle down if you got it.
Good to know. All right.
If shuttle's the way you want to go, just tell me what docking bay you're at, and I'll meet you there. Whenever you want to meet up. If you're heading down, bring you and your crew down here. Best way to do, time-wise, I'd say probably about 5, which is dawnish here. Reason why that's the case is that's when the shift change happens outside. They typically only have 2 guards down here, and there's about a good 30-minute window where they just don't care. But they do have 2 soldiery that are kind of put into position to hold the position at that one staircase. It's the one small outlet. I think they were talking about filling it in at some point, but just hasn't happened. Don't know why. Might have plans for it or something. I don't know.
I'm thinking, and if anybody else has any idea, correct me wrong. The shuttle might be the best way within that 30-minute window, or at least to get us down there as fast as possible. I take that as no objections.
Oh, I was gonna say I was gonna wait for the pilot to chime in, but he's not here.
He's not here.
You know what? He's really good at flying. He's a good flying robot. He can do it. I believe him.
Okay. So, if the shuttle's the plan, then we'll go ahead and start with the planning and engagement. And we might be, this might be a situation where the mission kind of bleeds into the next episode.
Yep.
Due to time, but we should be good for a bit of it. Okay, so first off, we've decided that social is the way we want to go, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, loadouts. Go ahead and start planning those.
Does my rocks in my pocket take up a slot? Are they illicit drugs? I get freebie.
You don't have like the worm part, you just have like the two little splats of blood, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. No loadout needed.
Does the gas mask take up a slot?
It will.
Okay. That'd be one. I'm guessing that would be one.
Correct.
Or
And yeah, just because you aren't used to kind of city dwellings, I think it's appropriate.
Okay, I'll take a communicator this time.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a communicator too. I'm marking my rocks as illicit drugs.
As you should.
Do we need a gas mask for this service? Is that what I'm hearing?
No,
Oh
no,
no.
no. So
Just him.
Is it
Terosh is
just
from a relatively not polluted planet.
It's got the good air. We
So-
are used to the bad air.
So you're going down below the cloud line on a very densely populated region. So you're from a core world. You've had city nightlife. Terosh is not.
Yeah. All right.
If you want him
So-
sneezing the whole time, then we can totally do that. But
So to bargain with this guy, it's more like favors and like actions, right? Like we're not trying to like bargain him with items. Is what I'm gathering.
Depends on what you want to do. Like that's really a discussion that the group should have.
I guess so. Part of my thing is I have access to large luxury items, which can be from the rulebook. Essentially, can essentially be anything that would be considered luxury. It doesn't have like a defined thing,
Sure.
so I can just put that down. If one of you guys can think of like, oh, maybe he would like something cool, or if in the conversation he says like, we can't get X on this planet, then we could potentially have that.
It could be like an art piece. They're very much after like icons and pieces. So if you have like a piece from the core worlds that's like an artifact that's like an art piece, not like a magical or way connected function or like a key or something like that, that would be pretty chill.
Yeah, I bring it up because in order for me to bring it, it's 2 slots. So
Yep.
I'm committing a bit of carrying capacity to bringing it, just to kind of like
You could
make
also
that
dish it
known.
to someone else if you wanted to.
Yeah, I could carry it for you. I only have 3. I have a light load. I'd carry it.
All right, so we'll mark down large luxury item.
And so what I assume that's going to end up being is it's a tube. It's made out of a strange substance that's not very common. So it's plastic, which is not a very common substance in setting. And inside there is a parchment from ages past that has an art design on it. It is, hold on a second here. It appears to be a picture of a strange man holding what appears to be a way user's light blade skyward. There is a woman in white at his feet. Next to them appear to be 2 bots that are just kind of standing there. It looks like one is made out of gold and is patting the other one's head. In the background, there looks like there is like 1,000 strange cross comets shooting into the sky towards a ship or space station. And in the silhouette of the sky in the background, there's a strange helmeted individual. Then there's writing at the top and writing at the bottom in strange big letters.
It's a collector's item.
It's Doom Eternal.
Does that take up 2 slots or 1?
2.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I guess
Oh,
we'll talk about
sweet.
the key here, since Zelra, you definitely seem like you don't want us to let loose of that.
All I heard was vault, okay? There could be valuables in there,
Trust me, I understand.
but
But imagine.
this is your show, Captain, so whatever you.
Right. Well, I don't think I'm not nearing you. Right. That's all I want to say. All I can think about is all the manpower down here, and if we get a way to get them up there, done so.
Indeed.
So we could always use those crystals instead.
Huh?
People do like
So-
drugs.
Yeah. You could use the crystals instead of like giving up the key.
I thought we were
Also-
giving them the large luxury item.
Yeah, if they take it, but I think then they're interested in her items, but they're also interested in more. Right?
Yeah.
They're awesome.
That's kind of the vibe I got.
I mean, they're mainly on planet to find items, like, and kind of, use that for some reason.
I got you.
Their group came here a long time ago, so a lot of the people that are here are like either very, very old members of the original pilgrimage or their
Like-
descendants.
Second, third, fourth generation.
Not that deep, just a generation ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's not that bad.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
this
you're
was-
right, Tarash. We can take some of that.
Just as gosh, they don't take it.
All right. Everybody got your loadouts, or
Yeah, I'm taking
Hmm.
my scimitar and the communicator.
okay?
I'm sorry, Stephen. What were you gonna say when I interrupted you?
Oh, I was just so I gave the large luxury item to Zelry, and then Thane. The first time you see him actually armed, he has a blaster. I bring a blaster on my hip since we are going to kind of a sketchy area. Though he looks super uncomfortable wearing it, like he can't quite. Doesn't really know how to strap the holster on properly to the belt. Totally wearing my spy gear because that's cool. And then yeah, and then I'll bring some maps and charts just in case we can to get a lay of the land, or if we can get any sort of descriptions.
You wanted a scene, John? What did you want?
I was gonna say, hey, Thane, you got that strap wrong. You gotta flip that other side and then flip. See what I'm saying?
Yep, that makes sense. Now it actually unlatches. Nope.
There you go. There
Oh,
it is.
thanks, Captain.
Yep, no problem.
And Tarash, you got your loadout good?
Yeah, he's taking his vibro blade and also buying blast crystal.
Becco,
Yes.
how about you?
Yeah, I've got blaster, hacking tools, and spy gear.
Okay. So, the group gets prepared. You move towards the shuttle, correct?
Yep.
And
I also have a communicator. I just want to let y'all know.
you set a time and a place for the guy. He meets you at the docking bay. You disconnected the shuttle from the ship, and it's sitting on its own, kind of in the docking bay next to the larger craft, the Serenade. He walks over. He looks like he has a different attire than he did when he was in the space. He kind of looked like, he was wearing like janitor gear when you first met him. I didn't really get a chance to describe what he looked like. He's just like a regular ass dude with kind of like spiky hair, right? But like kind of like no product, naturally spiky hair kind of deal. Just
I was
like
gonna say like an offspring.
well, it's almost like he just like woke up out of bed and like just has
Oh.
naturally like gorgeous looking boy band hair, but then he's like later 20s, like he's very handsome too, but it's not like a punchable handsome. It's like more of a like a kind of like a rugged kind of handsome, smarmy kind of handsome. But when he meets with you today, he looks like he's dressed. Trying to think of a good he looks like road warrior like kind of dress. Like he looks like he's dressed like
It's Mad Max.
Mad Maxian kind of attire, right? Like not like the bad guys in Mad Max. Like he looks like he's dressed like Mad Max, like fitting functional gear. Yeah, He's got a blaster on his belt, and he looks like he's ready to go. Once you all get on board the ship, he goes over to Orin, who's in the pilot seat, passes him a small little tablet. Orin kind of looks at it, and you can see that the other Urbot kind of looks at it as well. They plug in the information, then they separate. So Orin stays with the larger ship. Actually, Orin stays with the shuttle, and then the other one goes to the larger ship. So if it is needed, the two have communication. If the larger ship is required for air to surface attacks, or if the fighter ship is needed to be deployed, they can do that. So yeah, some options are available with that. Okay, you board the shuttle, and we get to the engagement roll. So, is the operation particularly bold or daring? I'm gonna say it's neutral. No penalty, no bonus. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? Also no. We're just kind of moving on the space, right? Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid? Yeah, that's already happened. So we're at +1 dice for that. And then are there any other elements that you want to consider? Anybody have any thoughts or suggestions that might add a dice? Anybody want to argue for additional dice here? And also, like, posit other suggestions, keeping in mind, like, the engagement roll here, as we understand it, for the scene. We're planning ahead. The scene is going to effectively, if it goes exactly as you want it to, you're going to leave the docking bay, descend down the pylon to the cloud level, enter into the cloud level, moving towards the coordinates that were suggested by Double Tap. Land there, make your way on foot to the quote-unquote gang, but they're actually pilgrims. Meet with them, perform the action to kind of discuss and negotiate with them, and then hopefully try and spend some time with them to sway them into joining your cause. Is that the dream? That's like the goal, right?
Yeah.
So if you fuck up the engagement roll, where do you see it going fucky? Like, where do you see it going wrong? Well, in the first instance, when you fly down, there's a chance of you being spotted out by hegemonic sensors, detectors, control. And can you think of any ways that you might want to suggest at this point that you might be able to avoid that? Once you get through the cloud line and get down there, is there a possibility that you don't land where you want to due to, either weather or other mishaps or maladies that happen, like to the ship's sensors that already suck? That's a possibility. Is there anything you can think of that might, sway us towards a better position on that? Obviously, the initial negotiation, the way that you're armed and prepared. Is there anything that you want to do to make yourself not look as hostile? That could help. Just anything that you can think of or suggest here. And also, I want to put on the table a devil's bargain for an engagement roll, which is obviously not something they suggest here, but I'm doing it anyway. If you, Steve, wish to avoid hegemonic detection by once again employing your ID card, you may, and I will give you +2 dice on the engagement roll for the obvious penalty.
Yeah, how many times did you say we're going to do this
So-
before my ID goes null?
You think about 10, but I'm going to say that this one's probably a higher regard. So you've used it twice, and so this would probably count as like 3 to 5, or I'd probably do a D6 uses on this one. D6 plus 1 uses on this one.
It could be a 1.
Could be a 1.
So minimum.
It's completely up to you, man.
Yeah, if we get caught, we're kind of pooched before we can get down there.
At the same time, doesn't our ship already look?
It does, but the problem is you haven't been cleared by control to go down.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and there's no way for us to use the transponder on the main ship for our shuttle.
Sure, that's absolutely possible. The problem is the shuttle that you have is not hegemonic. It was added on by other parties. So you would be false signaling, and that would very clearly denote that it's a fake transponder being used.
What if we hop on the speeder bike?
Then you're going to fly off the pylon down off, thousands of feet.
Yeah, I was just you know.
I love it.
So you said you wanted daring.
Yeah, that's so. Would
You know
you
what?
would you say that is a desperate?
You know what? It's got
Roll?
anti-grav. It's got anti-grav suspension. Like you could definitely like fly down the side of it. It's just that last kind of this. That's the trick, right? That's the problem. Everybody holding on. I'm pretty sure Becco dies, but we check to see if everybody else does.
Just clown carring it.
Yeah, so everybody on board, and Becco's
Law
on the
of
back.
inertia.
Of this.
Oh, that was purely a joke.
Flies
But,
off of it.
I know. And yeah.
Obviously, I was humoring you in a joking fashion.
Law of inertia. What if we jump off at the last
actually,
second?
does scramble go towards that?
It may, if an action is required, but what we're talking about here is an engagement roll. We're not doing actions yet. So
Right.
What
Okay.
I'm asking is if there's anything that you can suggest that's being applied during this earliest bit before you descend that you want to just tack on and like see if it warrants a bonus here, right? I will do that. I also threw out a very interesting portion to the engagement roll where I am allowing Steve to further bury himself for the betterment of the mission. If he takes the bargain, he is going to get 2 additional dice for the engagement roll, which is huge. But I'm going to roll a d6, or have him roll a d6 and add 1 to that number, and that's how many uses of his get out of jail free card effectively is going to be burned up. So there's no way
He hates the ID. He wants it gone.
No, that's not true. I love the
Well-
ID. I just I want you to use it. Also, like it's also interesting when you use it.
But yeah, like you said, I don't want to keep like using it as like a get out of jail free card since we're directly against the hegemony or hegemony. Just to be like, oh, don't worry, we can do whatever we want. They're with me.
Right. Well, obviously,
but-
you know it's like a limited resource, but like mechanically, what you do know too, I'm gonna make sure you do know if you didn't, is that once you get burned, it's gonna be an immediate wanted level.
Yep.
Okay.
You know what? We'll go for it. We'll live dangerously.
Love it. Okay.
We'll stay on a 5.
So we have a +1 from the contacts, no bonuses for the other options, and then nobody else has any other suggestions they want to throw on the table for bonus dice?
I don't see any others other than like a good
So, this is
good pilot.
Go ahead.
just us
Nathan.
getting down there, or like us actually interacting with people? Because I guess
So
like, the
again,
whole
it's a little bit of
engagement
everything.
is
So it's
freaking
the
me
entirety of the engagement, right? So,
out. Okay.
like as I discussed, like the dream, what you guys wish would happen, like would be the perfect episode for you, which was not fun for the
Yeah.
viewers to watch, but like narratively, like for you guys, it's like the most satisfying because it's a win. Is you're going to leave the docking bay with the shuttle, descend, not get caught out by any hegemonic sensors, controls, or patrols, and you're going to pierce the cloud layer. Your sensors are going to work fine once you get underneath the cloud layer. You're going to go to the spot that was given to you by your guide, double tap. You're going to arrive there, walk on foot to the gang's pilgrim's location, and once there, you're not going to be engaged with because they're not going to see you as hostile initially, and they're going to be able to start the conversation right nice. That's if we roll a 6. But it could be there's a better result than that. Like there's a critical success, which is even funnier, but we won't discuss it because we aren't there yet. So if there's anything in that process, that whole chain that you can think that would like, well, this would help.
Wouldn't having the guy? Well, I guess the guy brought us.
Guy's
to this
already
point.
given you the dice. He's already in
Okay.
there.
Okay.
So I feel like if we put like our least threatening people forward first once we get down there,
Okay. And
that
who
would
are your
probably
least
be
threatening
helpful.
people?
Probably Becco.
No?
I can put on my medical
Becco.
garb.
Wait. Becco is a hegemonic citizen.
Actually, you're right.
Yeah.
I was
So
really
that might
hoping,
be a huge disaster.
I was really hoping that would
Right.
stick. I would be like, well, it's not great, but not a bad course of practice. You guys roll like a 2 on the engagement roll, and you
Look,
walk up on the
also-
place and
Somebody
just
like,
scoops
stabs
his
him.
head right off. Just and you're all like, oh, we knew it was gonna happen.
So is there a way that we can disguise like is so I guess another question then Magpie would be like is Becco's hegemonic citizenhood, is it disguised? Is it like can it be procked or clocked by the people around us?
Imish are kind of like their own people, so like I don't think Becco's wearing like the ruined clothes that Becco was wearing when you found them,
No.
right? I think you put them in Dax's clothes
So
because
We did.
whatevs. It's what we
Well, they're a
got.
little big, right?
they're kind of baggy.
Yeah,
So
well,
he
no,
just
I
looks
mean
like
Dax wasn't like super big, right?
No, she's not big, but like she's taller than 4'8".
Yeah, probably by like maybe half a foot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, or maybe a little taller, but even still, like
Yeah.
the pants probably go up to like a bit above
Yeah.
the waist, and then like the shirt maybe goes down to like the thighs. It's like you're fine, and you tuck that shirt in
Yeah.
because that's the style
So
of
I
the
just look
future.
like a really hairy little guy.
Yeah, baggy clothes.
And then like, but whenever he's like changing though, like the shirt is like all the way down to almost his knees, and then the
Yeah.
sleeves are really long.
Yeah.
It's like, and so we have to help him.
Yes.
Oh,
God,
Yeah.
they're like hanging.
So sorry.
I love it.
does Vika also get the makeover too?
But yeah, like that's not a huge differentiator. Is there anything that anybody can think of?
I can't think of anything other than Jazz is wearing a fine coat.
Jazz wearing the
I'm-
cool clothes.
I'm
Go ahead.
gonna wear my medical garb.
Okay. A medic, that's good. Okay. Again, not anything that I think is gonna, sway it, but still a solid choice. Okay, then let's go with it. We've got 1 dice for the friend and contact providing insight. We've got 2 dice for the gambit, or for the devil's bargain. And then you've just got the base 1 dice. So a total of 4 dice for your fortune roll. Whoever wants to roll it, roll it.
Since we should have Dan roll it since he's doing his.
We should make fucking Steve be responsible for this shit.
Is there a button, or do I just slash roll 4d6 and see what happens?
Either way, but if you go into the ship, there should be a fortune roll option.
The ships. Forgot the
What's on
ship
your
is.
character sheet?
There's also one on your character sheet, I think. Yeah.
Oh,
Fortune roll. It's in the top
Just want
one.
everybody to at least roll it once.
Top right.
top right,
No, bottom.
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 It's right under friends.
Oh, roll fortune.
Yep. And then you're gonna add 3 bonus dice.
That's a good amount.
It's not bad.
Oh,
Oh no.
no, notes. Why are there notes?
No, just you don't have to have notes. It's fine.
Leave it empty.
Anything else? There it is.
Oh.
So a 5.
That's only 3.
Wait, yeah, we're missing 1 dice.
Oh, you need 1 more dice.
It was a +4.
Just roll
Oh,
a d6.
oh no.
Oh no.
So we
We're at
got
a 5.
a 5. Okay. So, what we will say here is, first off, you took the bargain, so go ahead and roll a d6. Again, this is for the number of uses. We've got 2 gone so far, so this plus 1. So 2.
Yeah, there it is.
Let's
There it
go!
is.
4
That's
way,
prime.
Way to fail that armor save.
Yep.
So 4 total charges of your shenanigans.
Worth.
You announce who you are, the transponder, and kind of mention that you're going to be flying in this area, so the scanners don't need to detect. And then they approve, and your ship is cleared for movement. The shuttle descends down into the clouds. When it does, Orin reports that the sensors are out of whack and determination on location is going to be problematic. You obviously didn't want to fly directly over where you were going to drop. You wanted to descend into the clouds so you had less hegemonic eyes on you. That way you could move through the cover of clouds to where you need to go. But that becomes a problem due to the atmospheric and also meteorological issues with the shuttle scanners, which again, we know are not proven. They are not great. We have shitty scanners and detection on the craft. It's very, space oriented, and here we are suffering the repercussions of that problem. When you descend and land the ship, you land in a space that Orin is able to pick up as being a landable position. And once he lands the ship, he says he can at that point send out a surveillance drone from the shuttle to determine where they are exactly and possibly correct. So the shuttle lands neatly. Once you've landed, does anybody wish to exit the shuttle, or are you all remaining inside while the scan is happening? And is anybody on the ship doing anything, or anybody on the shuttle doing anything besides?
I would recommend everybody stay on the ship until the scan's over.
Okay, Captain.
Recommend, remember.
Of course, Captain.
And I'm going to use Dax as my current proxy for double tap, even though it's not correct. I'm lazy and don't want to find another token. Okay, here you are on the shuttle. No one's leaving. Is anybody taking any other actions? Does anybody want to do anything else?
Not me.
Anything at all?
No.
Smoke a cigarette.
Okay.
Can't think of anything. No.
I
Okay.
would like to lick the rock again.
No.
Okay.
Do a kickflip.
So everybody's just kind of chilling, hanging out, and you can hear as the drone kind of leaves the shuttle, and you can see Orin just kind of patiently looking at the console. As you're all waiting quietly, doesn't feel like there's any kind of tension present, but people watching at home would know that there is. Like maybe 5 seconds into the scene, the shuttle rocks. And it's one of those, action scenes in a sci-fi show where everybody kind of flies to one side and kind of then shifts
Like a
to
truck.
the other side. No sparks or anything, right?
Okay.
But just like a nice kind of shifty shift. And Orin
Whoa!
says, drone detected a ping off to the right side. I don't know what it is, but it just hit us, and I think we're grounded. But he says it more like Zach would say it.
Right.
What's cool about...
So like a trained actor.
Hold on. Yes, but
So he says it though. He says it like a little rabbit guy.
not this week though.
Oh.
So in the shooting, right? Because Orin's in a suit, right? He's in a robot guy suit, right? The actor, like the person we're paying to do this gig. So he was really sick or whatever. He had a better gig because he's actually a real trained actor. So they just threw like an extra into the suit for this episode, and he's like. Something over there, I guess. I don't know. What am I supposed to calling?
I'm real nervous. Something over there.
Oh, God.
The little rabbit guy.
So, mostly theater of the minding here. At this point, does anybody want to do anything? Any actions or activities or anything that you want to try and do?
Look out a window.
Yeah, there aren't any. But there is a visual... there's a visual display in the pilot section There's also
I guess-
external cameras inside of the loading bays, which are
Are there any like panels that are like with blinking lights or any alarms going off?
for engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you kind of take a look at you'd probably be in this space here with Orin. And once you kind of like start looking at the situation, what has happened is you've been hit by magnetic static anchor, which is a device that basically has glommed onto the side of the ship and has created kind of a magnetic resonance with just the ship and the ground. So you are basically locked in place where you're at. And as an engineer, you would know that pulling it off isn't going to change much because the static is going to remain for a while, the better part of 30 minutes.
Okay.
I would like to attune and try to like throw out my detection of the way and um to see if I ping um any intent to kill, to harm.
Okay. So go ahead and make an attunement roll. I'm also going to give you some other kind of free play with that
Okay.
action, though, once we kind of determine like what your result is.
Position?
Position is going to be not controlled, the one below controlled.
Risky or
Yeah,
desperate?
risky.
Risky. Okay. Effect?
It's going to be standard.
Any bonus?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. 2 5s?
2 5s. Okay.
What does that do anything?
Uh,
Is that
five
good?
five is a success. Why is it
Oh,
not
okay.
showing the roll though?
Oh no, I'm a dumb bitch. I was testing something and I put talk to
I'm not
myself.
going to count it, so you can go ahead and roll again in the open.
John, how
Aw.
dare you?
Not that I
Okay.
don't trust you. I just like the dice being in front of me. And maybe you'll
Okay.
do better, maybe you'll do worse, and you will know to do it right the first time next time.
Would the cameras that Orin's looking over be looking at
The fail.
the obstruction?
Force a mixed result, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The-
A 4-5 is a. Let's see. Yeah, because we're on risky position because of the 5 roll. That's why we are where we're at. But for an action roll, where am I looking? Bear with me here. Sorry, trying to remember how this game works. So. Sorry. Thanks for.
Oh, it's a reduced effect.
Yeah, right. So you are able to clock that there are approximately a dozen individuals with hostile intent that appear to be in the distance that Orin suggested, kind of off to the eastern side of the ship. What you're also able to calculate is that the majority of those individuals, 8 of them, appear to be very tightly packed close to one another. And based on that kind of logic, you think that they are inside of a tank.
Okay. I quickly communicate that to the group.
Fucking tank?
And I would also
Yeah, it's like-
communicate that we're not moving.
Are they damaging the hull?
They shot an EMS on your ship, a static magnetism that basically binds the bottom of the ship to the ground. So,
All right. Open. Everybody to the loading bay. We're gonna do social.
We're gonna do a
So,
we're gonna do a social.
a quick note
socially.
for Thane. Electromagnetic static anchoring in tank doesn't signal to you pilgrims. It signals to you hegemonic, like, modus
Yeah.
operandi. That's the play, right? It's to, if a ship is attempting to escape, they lock it down if they have a EMS on them.
You said we have external cameras, right?
Yeah.
Can I just turn on a console and see what we can see?
So what you would see outside, and again, probably only a reference that you, maybe John, will get, but I'll explain in more detail also. But it looks like you're looking outside and there's a Lehman Russ on a ridge, kind of cannon pointed at you. The cannon has a launcher on its left side, and the launcher seems to have expended its ammunition, which is the anchor.
Not a like a sponson?
So no, yeah, no sponson. Basically, it's a
Oh.
large cannon, and then on the left side of that is a
That
smaller
teeny
launching
little
system.
boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That fired the anchor at you. For those who don't know what a Lehman Russ is, it's like a battle tank, like old World War II, like, you know, American
Yeah.
tank.
It's over front.
Yeah, it's just that.
Is Cooper saying anything during this?
Cooper's like, we're well off target. What the fuck are they doing down here? And I don't know if anybody wants to try and rationalize that at the current moment. You can take your time on that thought process, but yeah.
Tell you what, we're gonna go wave at them,
What? What?
or I
Is
can.
That,
Remember,
Becco. What?
wait,
What?
daring.
huh?
Just
He opens the loading bay.
Okay, you're kind of at first blasted with the sensation of like, it's like it's like a friend of yours just blew, like, you know, weed smoke into your face, but it's also like they also kind of accidentally spit ash into your face as well.
Yeah.
It's like this just
Oh.
sensation of just like boom, you're being hit with just like. It's like the exterior is very much a smelly, smoky, ashy space, and you're kind of looking outside, and like it's not dark. It's like Glasgow, right? It's like a foggy
Yeah.
kind of just like densely just gray space, and you can
He's just like, what the fuck?
you can see the ridge that you saw on the camera, which was coming from a high point on the vehicle, on the shuttle rather. So you kind of saw it from a high point. Now that you're like loading bay's open and you're looking out at it, you can see that there's a bunch of rubble and ruin in between you and it. It's not just like a flat ground up to the ridge, because you're in a broken down city, and this just happened to be the curtain wall of a, you know, building that no longer exists.
Yeah, so they wouldn't be able to see me if I come down.
Yeah, if you pop out and rush up, you could probably move within cover. I mean, they might be able to catch you, but determining on how you move is, you know, what action you take. Anybody else want to do anything while Captain Jazz has basically just walked over to the eastern, like, floating bay, popped the door, and dropped the ramp, and just like he's like, looking out the door, like, ready.
Lupita will make eye contact with Tarash and be like, "We should probably go get him."
Hand on
Should I bring
scimitar,
broom?
moving over to the thing. Tarash making sure the mask is on.
do I know the exact like model of the tank, or are we just calling it a Lehman Russ for simplicity's sake?
So I would say that you don't recognize the model of the tank. This is definitely not technology that you're familiar with. It is older, is what you're for certain of. And if you're kind of studying it as you are, you would see that there are 4 individuals outside the tank in cover near it that are wearing the bright whites of the hegemonic soldiery and the red visored eyes, with their kind of standard pulse rifle blasters.
Anyone? Do we have like external comms, like in like speakers or anything?
So it would be
I have a communicator.
It'd be a communicator situation. If you're in the ship, you can communicate with anybody who has a communicator. But
More like
nobody's
trying
left the
to,
ship.
no, more like trying to broadcast something from the ship,
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
to talk to,
Smart.
to
Smart.
try to talk to them.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm trying to do like we're on a diplomatic mission, not to not Alderaan, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, essentially, so I want to like kind of get on the comm and say like, hegemonic, what would it be, ordnance, a
Uh-huh.
tank. Like hegemonic ordnance, stand down. We are on a diplomatic mission. Um, whatever code we use to get down here, I'll kind of say like access or like code 679494, like passcode. We have clearance to be in this area.
Yep.
We are unarmed. It's a diplomatic mission.
So what
Repeat,
you
diplomatic mission.
quickly realize is that the sound that you're getting back is static. It seems that the communication is definitely warbled, probably due in part to the same thing that was kind of blocking your scanners. And as you're kind of waiting for a reply, Jazz, you're kind of like getting ready to kind of start moving down. Lupita, you're moving towards the door with the hand on the scimitar, and Terosh, you're like affixing the mask to your face. What else are you doing, if anything, Johnny?
Just following Lupita.
Yep. Anything
But
else?
he's readying, because you're ready his blaster.
Absolutely. So you kind of like rifle in hand, moving towards the door, and the reply
We're
back.
unarmed. 3 armed people come out of the fucking.
The reply back, Thane, is one you weren't expecting, but one that Jazz watches happen in real time. You watch as the main cannon on the battle tank detonates inside of its core and fires forward a massive round, which slams into the side of the ship. Again, we have that same kind of whoa, everybody moving around, but then there's the external scene, and it shows Jazz kind of at the door, and there's just this big flash up on the left side of the screen, and just like his silhouette in the door for a second, and then like the two silhouettes of his crew coming up behind him. Okay, so Lupita, Terosh, and Jazz, you have actions that you can take if you'd like. Feel free to decide what you want to do. I'm just going to cut to the interior. Thane, obviously, the dialogue option, the dialogue tree is gone. If there's anything else you want to think to do, that's fine. But what you'll notice is the battle cannon shot has taken out the visual display from inside of the shuttle. And then engineering wise, there are some options that you have available to you. Again, I've stated something as a fact. You can take it as such if that's Becco's modus. I know Dax would probably try and fight the system and miracle work it into being better situation for you. Also an option for Becco if Becco finds the courage to do so. And Zelri, you kind of typically filter towards the back, but I just want to make sure. Are you joining the crew that's rushing out into the field, or are you wanting to stay on ship?
Oh, heck no, I'm getting off that ship.
All right, so you're rushing out with the crew.
Let's go.
And did you have a weapon that you're brandishing, or?
Nope, I don't carry weapons.
Okay, cool. Is there any particular individual you want to stay close to, like if they get split up?
Terosh.
Okay. And perfect. So then I want to focus up on you three, and Zelri, of course, but the three main combatants. There are actions that can be taken here, and I just want you to decide like what you're trying to do, like in a narrative sense, and then let's come to a conclusion what that action's going to be. I'm going to lead with the captain, obviously, because captain. John, how would you like to engage the situation? What action would you like to perform?
Definitely not going to be brandishing anything. I would more like to scramble and kind of. I figured this would be like a without looking out into what our surrounding was. Figured it'd be mostly sandy. But now that I see it's a city, it's a bit different.
Well, it's debris, I guess is the best way to describe it. You landed.
Okay.
Imagine like a building was just kind of like collapsed inside of its own foundation, right? You
Right.
landed on that foundation, and like all of the parts of that building are kind of around you, and some of these chunks are not like atomized. They're larger chunks of building, which are the debris that I mentioned kind of in between you and the ridge. The ridge line is basically where the detonation is of the building. And so they're up over, they just kind of like drove up over the ridge, saw your ship, fired the EMS, and then fired the battle cannon. So that's where you're at.
Oh.
And you said scramble. So do you want to like rush towards it? Do you want to kind of maneuver away from it? Like, is your goal to kind of scramble like up to it, maybe get close enough to do something like, to the tank, like a la, Saving Private Ryan or whatever?
That's more what I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay, dope. So then you're gonna go ahead and make a scramble roll. Terosh, you can see that jazz look in his eyes that he's gonna do something crazy and he's gonna rush up that way. You before you rushed out would have seen on the display and before the display got taken out that it looks like there's some hegemonic soldiers outside of the tank operating as kind of like a control measure to protect the tank. What action do you want to go for, Johnny?
Mm, I was going to do something, but
Oh, go ahead. Just describe.
he was. I was going to use my ability to ready for anything. When being ambushed, we're being ambushed, right? I assume so. What you call that an ambush?
I suppose. What does the ability say specifically?
This is when being ambushed. You gain potency to all actions during a flashback, and your first flashback costs 0 stress. But I was thinking, using a flashback, bringing a detonator launcher and a detonator.
Do you have the space on your carrying loadout to do so?
It will make me 3 pieces. That'll make me heavy.
Okay, dope. Yeah, that's totally fine. So there's a flashback like where you're thinking about it and you're like, didn't someone say the hegemonic prince is trying to go down and get relics too? That might mean they have ground units there. And so as you're looking at all the guns, you just go and grab the biggest gun.
Yeah.
And so as you're kind of like looking at the battle rifle, you come out and you look at it. You kind of like just let that like sling and.
Oh, that's Lupita. It goes boom.
Okay. So are you gonna try and shoot the tank from here?
Well, does you see Jazz running towards the tank first?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
You would see that.
Yeah, I'm full on sprinting.
Or, he would probably hold, see what he does. Then if it goes badly, he's gonna fire it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lupita, you see your captain going out. You see that Sarah has a detonator launcher aimed at the tank. I will say this: the detonator launcher shot will make it to the tank before Jazz will, because Jazz is kind of running up a hill and running, towards it. Right, it's a distance away.
Oh.
So if that changes your mind about the kind of proximity,
he's also waving his arms. I want it to be clear, like, stop, cut it out.
To who?
Okay.
The tank.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So
that was the whole point, was to run out and be like, cut it out, stop it.
Oh, I didn't.
Quit shooting at my ship.
No, this isn't me. I'm going up there with my blasters. Pow, 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 pow. That's why if I thought that I could even see them from the loading area, I would just walk down the loading area and just be like, hey, what are you doing? Which I think got missed with the size of the debris.
Yeah.
So like the way that Lupita sees this is Captain is running towards the enemy, hands waving. The enemy has fired at the
Twice.
The shuttle twice. Beside me, I hear and see Tarosh like preparing heavy artillery, or I don't know what the word is.
Yeah,
whatever.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
A gun, a big gun to make a big explosion. I don't know. And so my main goal right now is to keep the captain from harm.
Uh-huh.
So depending on what exactly Tarosh does, I'm either going to use the way to throw myself forward and shove the captain out of harm's way.
Okay.
Or I will do my best to get close and to shove him out of the explosion or whatever. Or I'm going to try to use my scimitar to protect the captain from any blaster.
Love it.
Blaster shots.
So then you'll be doing an attune roll. So Johnny, with the way the things have been described, it looks like Jazz is rushing out there to try and kind of talk. So you
doing a social.
You can see Lupita kind of engaging slightly differently. This is obviously not the people you would know it's hegemonic though. I just want to make sure that's clear, John. Do you know that?
No, I had no idea.
So
Okay, so never mind. And that's
you're scrambling
Oh my
still. I
God.
like the scramble.
Oh, yes.
It's
Dude, I
it's
can
not a
just
bad
hear-
idea, but I just want to make sure it's very clear. Your guy knows
Like,
that that's a hegemonic battle tank, and you don't
oh,
have
then okay, then never mind. I will scramble.
to go out there and kill
I-
them.
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
I guess I'm here, so I'm
Oh.
doing it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that that's clear because I think everybody else get that beat? I just want to make
Yeah.
sure that that was
Yeah.
I did.
okay.
I did not.
I was
I'm
like,
just
why are you
dying.
trying to talk the hegemony? Like,
right?
I did not. I
You said
figured.
they were
I
stormtroopers.
well,
Yeah,
no,
there's-
Yeah.
yeah, it's all white. It's all white.
I'm so
machinery.
I'm so sorry.
It's
I
okay.
figured that.
Oh,
I just see
Yeah, I
Cat
was a little
Jazz.
confused.
That
I'm like,
flew-
why
that
were
flew
you
right over my
trying to
head.
negotiate with these
yeah.
people?
That was pretty funny though. That was
We're
pretty
on a
funny.
social
I-
mission.
So
Not with these people.
I like the
We're
play.
talking.
I like the play. Like maybe the same thing's happening, right? Go ahead and make your scramble roll, but maybe the same thing's happening. You're trying to catch them off guard, right? You're doing. If you want to do like a
So desperate,
it's gonna
controlled,
be
risky.
It's gonna be desperate. No, it's risky. It's risky. You're risky.
Fuck!
Okay.
I already did it.
Okay.
Wait,
Fair
never
enough.
mind. I can do it again.
Okay.
Yeah, risky, and then
Risky.
effect for this. Your goal is to just get up there and get into position and kind of get into kind of like a
Right.
sneak attacking kind of position and deal
Right.
with them there. That's fine. So then I'm going to say the effect will be the one above standard.
Limited.
No, the other direction.
I mean, if it's like an old
It
tank,
says
there's
standard,
probably
limited,
smoke
great,
that has to be
extreme.
clear.
Oh,
Great.
great. Give me great.
Okay. No, 0 bonus dice, huh?
No bonus dice. Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
5.
cool. So that's technically a success, but it's a limited success. Got it. So just to be sure, this is kind of all happening like narratively in my mind. We already have all the beats. Tarash, like you can see that he's trying to move not straight at it, kind of off to the side for a flank, right? Combat. Are you firing the big boy at it to lead, or do you want to fire the move up and get a blaster like shot in? What do you want to do?
Probably be the lead because it's like if you shoot
Yeah.
at it, it's gonna cause like mass commotion. You're gonna be frazzled. Like, and I probably won't protect it.
So
Then,
you're gonna make a whatever the beat the shit out of me roll is called.
yeah, scrap.
That's the
Well,
one.
while he's making
Yeah.
a roll, can I narratively say that Jax went down the thing, went down the. Yeah, and then he came out and he's just like, what the fuck? Oh, that's hegemony. And then he just dipped. He's
Yeah.
just like, oh, fuck, I'm an idiot.
So I got the scene. I've got an idea of how it's gonna play out. So you're kind of rushing up and you're kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? And kind of rushing up there, like trying to get around to see them better.
Yep.
And I'm gonna describe kind of that scene, but I need to see the other two how it plays out.
No, yeah,
So
perfectly fine.
yeah, I'm trying to make the scene with everybody's action. So
Yep, just wanted to help.
I need your combat roll or your scrap roll.
It's
Risky
right?
position. We're still in risky, and the effect on
Yep.
this is going to be extreme.
Ish.
'Cause
Any
this
bonus dice?
is, not that I can say. You can push yourself.
Heck yeah. One stress. Right, that's one stress.
Ooh.
If I'm behind
I also
him,
have gambits.
if I'm shadowing him,
Oh, sorry.
can I give him a push or no?
You can assist. So basically, we're going right back to fucking Helldivers. You can jump on the
Yeah, right.
side and help him like maintain the detonator launcher because it's a pretty big piece of armament, and so you're basically making sure that he is basically ready to shoot. Like you're basically bracing him. So
Because I did say I was following, so I
You
would take
did.
some stress.
you'll take 1 stress for the assist, and then Johnny, you'll take 2 stress for the push.
And that'll be a +2 to dice.
Plus total of 2 dice. That's right.
Okay.
All right.
Hey.
Cool.
Hey,
And then
Woo!
Lupita, you basically see that those two mean business as they kind of get into firing position. You guys have, done drills before. This is probably common practice. So you can see that he's rushing off and getting up there. You said you were going to either kind of move up and block the blaster fire that's incoming, or what was the other one?
Or like knock the captain out of the way so he's not caught in the blast.
So you're kind of rushing after him, not in such a scrambling effect, kind of keeping your head up so you can see incoming blaster fire. And
Yeah.
a tune will be the roll that I want from you.
Risky,
Uh-huh.
standard.
This one will be standard, yes.
I'm going to take 2 stress
Okay, for push.
for push. So that'll add a bonus dice, and then I'll roll. I
Perfect.
got a 6.
Okay.
Nice.
So here's how the scene plays out, okay? Lupita, you see him rush out, and you can understand that he may not understand that that's a hegemonic, tank. It's an older tank. That's fine.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And so he's kind of rushing up there, and as he's kind of rushing forward, you kind of chase after him as you see Terosh and Zelri kind of lock and load, get the detonator launcher, brace down, get ready for the big shot. Right? You're chasing after him, and you're keeping your head up, and you see the hegemonic soldiers kind of look down at you down the ridge, and then you can hear the scrambled noise of their faces as they bring up their blaster rifles to fire.
Oh, fuck.
2 of them lock on you, but you then start moving with kind of like a blur, kind of shifting through the space as the blaster fire kind of hits near you, and you can see Jazz kind of turn around and go, "What the fuck?" And then he kind of pops his head up and sees the stormtroopers. They fire in at him, and you kind of shift into the space and like swipe quickly with the scimitar, knocking the blaster fire to the side. Jazz bolts up around the ridge and sees what's happening, and then locks into position. And that's when the detonator launcher flies forward and hits. And you just watch the tank's top just blow out like 40 or 50 feet backwards from it as the bottom of the tank just explodes upwards. And all 4 of the soldiers that were near it fly to the sides. And Jazz, you're kind of like, "What the fuck?" And you're just kind of like, "Oh," tucked behind the wall as the flame passes by you. As you almost get killed by friendly fire. But
Proud of them. Proud of them. Proud of them.
Not on my watch.
I pick up my communicator and say, "I'm so proud of you. So proud of all of you."
Yeah. You see him like laughing too.
As you kind of investigate the scene afterwards, looking at the situation, the tank is blasted out. The 4 soldiers are kind of knocked off to the side. You can see the shrapnel has pierced their plasteel armor and killed them. From the tank explosion and then explosion. And your communicator, when you signal over to Terosh and to everybody else gets a proudy. Seems that the whatever distortion caused the scanners and sensors to detect is blocking communications as well. However you want to complete the scene, if there's anything that you want to, do in that segment after that beat.
How close are we to where it seems we're pretty close to the tank, right?
Yeah, the tanks. I mean, you're not close to it when it's exploding, but after it's done and it's now just like a massive like bonfire, you can walk up to it if you want.
Guess I'll go pick at the hegemonic soldiers.
Okay, so the soldiery appears to be wearing the pretty standard trooper armor. The difference, though, very strange actually. Something you notice about them is they have very different backpacks to what you would normally expect to see hegemonic soldiers wearing. These backpacks appear to have like a holding container that is very similar to the holding container that you found on the transport shuttle that you found Kane on. In fact, they're so familiar to you as you see them, Lupita and Jazz, that you recognize them as the containers that lock in the Night Beast eggs. It's the exact same make and model. They are empty, all of them.
Did the night beast eggs, did they when they're like an egg form, did they produce any kind of goo?
Not really.
No, right.
No, they kind of amassed like that kind of smoke.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So two, can I like scan to see if there's like any remains of their kind of like warping of the way, or like if they've left their weird signature?
Not around you, no.
Okay.
There definitely does happen to be kind of like a number of tools on the soldiers that appear to be for picking up and putting into the containers. These kind of tools that are used for that purpose. So these appear to be collectors. These units.
Okay, that's weird. That's not good.
It seems like they're either waiting. I don't know. Buzz on the communicator. I'll say it seems they were either waiting for us or they were waiting for whoever we were going to make a deal with.
And if you've got a communicator, Jazz, you're able to kind of broadcast your own kind of visuals to the ship if you want.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So as you, Thane, and Becco are kind of in the ship, kind of like nervously looking at the situation, you would see that the iconography on, or the heraldry rather, on their markers seems to denote that they are members of House Hachi.
On.
They're like hegemonic soldiery that's specifically like the house guard of House Hachi.
Can I do a flashback?
Yeah.
Back to when Becco's picking his load out. And he's looking between a blaster, ship repair tools, like the fine ship repair tools, and the hacking tools. And he's like literally like it, as long as it takes everyone out to get ready, he's literally just staring at these three things. And instead of taking the blaster and the hacking tools, he's just like takes the repair tools.
Okay.
And he's like, it's a really long way down.
So, just so we understand, too, this session, next session, you're going to be absent, right, Magpie?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I offer up a suggestion as to how we remedy the fact that I wasn't able to kill Becco?
Yeah.
Okay, this is
Go
just a
road
suggestion.
rocket.
You can say no. I'm just putting this on the table if you want it to be the case. It's kind of hear me out. So we go back to that flashback. You grab the repair tools.
Yeah.
The second that the ship gets hit with the EMS launcher, you rush outside of the other side of it on the opposite end to try and fix it as quickly as you can. And when that battle cannon shot hit the side of the ship, it severed Becco in half. You can say no. It's just a suggestion.
I mean, that's fine, and like you guys have no fucking clue.
Right.
What if Becco lives and they just stumble away and that's
if you want. If not, what will happen is at the beginning of the next scene, because we're going to be cutting to them moving on to the rebel location.
Shisho in shock.
There will be Imish present, and you can just join them as a friend and like leave the crew. These are your two options: either a happy ending on a weird planet where you just don't care about the crew anymore, and it just happens literally at the beginning of the next session, or they're cut in half by the explosion of the battle cannon. You decide.
Okay, but did he get to like fix the whole?
Oh yeah. The EMS is disconnected. The anchor is actually removed. Yes, he succeeded, but he died.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Okay.
Sorry.
So as Jazz is like,
oh no,
kind of like scouring over the situation, Zelri, you're kind of like assessing the situation, and you kind of look back towards the ship where the battle cannon hit. And you're wondering if Becco can fix the battle cannon strike or not. And you kind of eyes move over to the side, and you can see just kind of red matter on the back end of the ship. When you go over to assess the medical situation, you can see that Becco was a shard off of the like array on the top of the shuttle, flew through them at a very hyper velocity and split Becco in two. But Orin reports that the ship is mobile, will be mobile, and has no issues or no lasting effects. So Becco's sacrifice wasn't in vain. sad.
We're an engineer
We lost
episode, guys.
Echo.
It's sad, but I gave you the choice for a happy ending or a sad one, and you chose it. It's not my fault. Don't blame me, people.
Wait,
It's what the
Nor, do you
audience
say that
wants.
over comms?
Yeah.
Again, the comms,
What?
even at this close distance, you can hear the static, and you can hardly get the message like across.
Who?
Oh,
The engineer.
We have an
Yeah.
engineer.
what did you get here?
Oh, Dax ain't on the ship.
Becco.
Oh no, Becco, Captain! Oh
What?
my god. I
What?
know it's a weird name. But what do you mean we lost
What do you
Becco?
mean weird?
Oh, the cat?
Did they get
The scene,
lost?
the
Keep
scene
an eye on
cuts, and everybody who was outside moves towards the ship. And before you kind of move towards that part of the ship, you kind of look at the back where Zelry is, and you're all just kind of standing. And it's like that scene in.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
They're all just staring at it.
It's not showing it. It's not showing the graphic horror of it because
Oh
obviously,
yeah,
right?
it's
we're
just
on TV.
the three of them.
It's
the
just
three of them.
It's just with the four of you, right? Like kind of outside, just kind of like standing there, and it's just showing it from like an up angle, like as if the camera was Becco's like corpse looking up at you guys.
Well, I bet that was better than the egg, right?
What?
Oh,
You
Captain.
see,
Tara's
you see
trying-
Tarash's,
Go,
you
go.
see like a tear go drop down Tarash's face, and I never thought your name was weird.
What?
Echo.
I never thought your name was weird.
Lupita's fully sobbing.
Oh,
Yes. Yes, it was.
Jazz will pat Lupita on the back and say, "All right, come on, let's go."
What do you mean? Let's go.
Let's
Like,
go. Why can't you
Our
get
crew
over
member
it this
was just
quickly?
eviscerated.
You
They
know
were
the
they were temporary.
days.
What?
We all knew that it was temporary. You all get back on the shuttle, and Oren says, "Hey, where's Becca?"
Oh,
Can Jazz be a character that breaks the fourth wall?
oh my God!
No,
What?
no, I don't want a fourth wall break.
Okay,
Absolutely
I'm sorry.
not.
What in the Deadpool?
He was just here for 2 episodes.
Oh,
We can be the characters on the other side of the fourth
Anyway,
wall.
anyway.
you get your
no,
gear.
that's-
You finalize your gear because obviously you rushed out and weren't like fully geared up. You get your gear, and then double tap basically gets his gear together. You exit out of the ship, and you head in a direction. He says, "I don't know exactly where we are, and your drone got blasted, so we don't have a full scan on it. I'm going to do my best to get you to where you need to go." And he kind of points off in the distance, and kind of just hitting the gray kind of cloudy line is a kind of silhouette of like a dark building that, again, there are a lot of buildings that are down here that don't quite make it to the cloud line, right? So they're like 30, 40.
John.
Huh?
before you move on into the mission, can we just say that we pull Becco's body into the ship or something? We're gonna just leave it there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Oren doesn't mind the smell. Because he can. But as you kind of, prepare the body and kind of put it back onto the ship, you then gather your gear. You put Becco's remains in cold storage, which you have a small kind of, facility for that. And then you head off. Tall, dark silhouette of a building. Like I said, like the pylons stand above the clouds, but these buildings are kind of older structures that were built by the original Pilgrims, or kind of put down by the original Pilgrims from orbit. They're simple structures, except for this one building, which looks like it's a proto-pylon, like a pylon from an older era, decades past. And he says the Pilgrims reside in the shadow of that building. Pylon 0. Nods his head. And the scene kind of shows you all kind of start moving into the wreckage, ruins of this old, well, more or less just destroyed city. And that's where we'll end the session for tonight. Thanks for watching those that did, and we will see you next episode. Check it out.